feed crops in different areas, which you might not get if someone's nicked all your water.
That's an important point. But as I said before, really the amount of water we're talking about in terms of weather systems is so huge. I mean, it's geoengineering. And what we're talking about in terms of seeding is a small pinprick in comparison to that. So if you have a weather system with lots of water in it, it's going to rain on you. You're not going to be able to change too much of that.
Okay, so geoengineering, it's really hard. It's a massive project. It has limited efficacy. But is there anything that we could be doing to induce rain or have some positive effects on things like climate change?
At the moment, because of the global lockdown, there aren't very many aircraft in the sky. And when you look up into the sky and see one of these planes, often you see it coming out of the back is these straight lines called contrails. Now, they are actually little clouds formed as a result of the engine expelling out tiny particles of uncombusted fuel and other little particles that come out, and they basically nucleate little clouds, and they're in a straight line that they follow where the plane went. But now we've had this whole period of very, very low amount of airplanes in the sky. So scientists are actively using the data now that without contrails to see if contrails themselves, the production of them, does change the weather. And I think this is going to be really interesting to find out whether it heats up the climate or it cools it down. It has a net.
The top stories live from the Sky News City studio. Last orders all lockdown. Thousands of job cuts as pubs and restaurants order to close at 10 p.m. The Prime Minister will set out further restrictions in just a few hours' time.
There is going to be a shift in emphasis, and one of the things that we are going to emphasise is that if it is possible for people to work from home, then we'd encourage them to do so.
The end of the return to offices and a possible local lockdown, a double blow for the country's biggest economy, London. Aviation and travel companies hammered again by the threat of new restrictions. Just how can the industry recover? And it's now just 100 days till the end of the Brexit transition period, but there's still no trade deal in sight. Good morning, this is Ian King Live, an hour of business and economic news from the heart of the city. It's clear that we're now in the next stage of this crisis, and it will be extremely damaging to the economy and businesses already reeling from the last few months. In just a few hours' time, the Prime Minister is going to tell the nation what new restrictions are being imposed. But we already know that the push to get us back to the office is over, and that hospitality businesses are going to be forced to close by 10 p.m. Well, in the last few hours, we've had a stark reminder of just how devastating the crisis already facing our hospitality hospitality businesses is. Whitbread has said it will be cutting up to 6,000 jobs. The company, which owns the Premier Inn hotel chain and a range of pub and restaurant brands, including Brewers Air and Beefeater, says total sales improved in August to be down 38.5% on the same period last year. Meanwhile, the pub giant JD Wetherspoon says it is going to cut up to 450 jobs at its 6 airport pubs, including at Heathrow and Gatwick. We're live now to the Chief Executive of Fuller's, Simon Emeny, and to Tim Martin, the founder and chairman of JD Wetherspoon. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Tim, let me start with you. I imagine it's a great sense of reluctance you've announced these job cuts today.
Well, absolutely it is. We'd hoped to be back up to speed by now, as indeed had the whole airline industry, but it's not happened. And I think the airline industry, like the pub industry, is suffering from a tremendous number of changes of direction, as opposed to keeping it simple like they've done in Sweden, with rules that everyone can understand, hand washing and social distancing, common sense. We jump from pillar to post to circuit, breaking to mingling to now curfews is the latest thing.
And do you think this 10 p.m. closing time is proportionate?
It's utterly stupid, because what you've got at the moment, Ian, is you've got 3.2 million hospitality workers trying their very best to enforce social distancing rules, which people will obey if they think they're in their best interests. And what they're doing is they're making those people redundant at 10 p.m. or so in the evening, and turning everyone out into the streets. So what are 19, 20, 21-year-olds going to do? Go home to mum? We've done a good job at social distancing in pubs. So have Fuller's, and so have most pubs. There's hardly any infections being passed on in pubs. 800 of our 861 pubs have had no infections whatsoever. Another 40 have had one infection. If it was desperately infectious in pubs, you wouldn't get pubs with one case. So it's mad, nuts.
Simon, let me bring in you. You've been nodding vigorously to a lot of what Tim has been saying there. Is the pub sector being unfairly treated, given the way that it's worked closely with the government on things like track and trace?
Well, completely. You have to bear in mind that we reopened on the 4th of July, implementing protocols that we had worked on with government to make sure that we could operate safely for our colleagues and our customers. There is no evidence that the increase in cases, which are around 4,000 a day, is originating from pubs. It's less than 4.8% of cases are originating from pubs. So to see the sector singled out by the government overnight as being part of the problem is completely unjust, demoralizing for so many people that are going to lose their jobs through this pandemic. Pubs can actually be part of the solution. They are not part of the problem. It is a heavily regulated industry where we have successfully worked with the government, worked across the entire sector to put protocols in place to ensure that everybody is safe in pubs. So the government should actually be encouraging people to socialise in pubs, not in people's houses, and as Tim said, not spilling out into the street, going back to mum and dad and back to other families to infect potentially other people. Pubs are the home of responsible socialising, and the government should be actually encouraging people to socialise in a regulated environment, not an unregulated environment.
Simon, do you worry that we could see a return to, we've obviously seen opening hours liberalised over the last couple of decades or so. I mean, in the old days, you used to have this sort of half-hour closing time swill where everyone would knock back 3 or 4 pints ahead of closing time. Do you think you could see behaviour like that re-emerging?
I don't know, Ian. We're really digesting what's happening and trying to absorb the consequences for not only Fuller's but for the whole sector. I think what people have seen in the North East over the last 4 days is that that loss of 1 hour really impacts consumer confidence. So sales in the North East, I believe, have been down something like 50%. For an industry that was already dealing with the potential end of the furlough period, that will be absolutely crippling, and the effect it will have on consumer confidence will be enormous. It brings me back to really what the Prime Minister did on the 16th of March, where he kept the sector open, but put words out to discourage anybody from going to pubs. He should be doing the opposite. He should be encouraging people to socialise in pubs, not at home or in the street.
Tim, I guess one of the particularly contradictory signals being sent out here is the fact that this comes so soon after the success of Eat Out to Help Out.
Well, the whole thing is nuts, and we're going from pillar to post. I'm fairly certain the government hasn't got a clue what it's doing. The most important thing in our democracy is for Parliament now to take control of this matter, because there's a very large body of opinion from Professors Gupta, Hennigan, Michael Levitt in America, and many, many others who say that social distancing and hygiene are the only scientific methods. And what's happening is a bunch of colleagues, many of whom haven't been elected, are imposing rule by decree, as Graham Davey has said, Graham Brady has said, who's a Conservative MP. Parliament should now take a week to debate this. And the question for Parliament is, do lockdowns work? And if they go into that in detail and forget about political loyalty and try and get to the heart of the problem, they're intelligent people. That's why they've been elected. They'll say lockdowns don't work. There's a lot of other things that do, but they don't.
Simon, is it possible to put a number on how much this is going to cost you in terms of lost sales?
I'm not really interested in lost sales at the moment. I'm more concerned with lost jobs, lost livelihood, the morale and the mental health of my team. And these are all things that are far more important to me than lost sales. I think this will be devastating for the industry, but it will be devastating for so many people. They're going to be cut adrift, predominantly people who are under 30, who are going to lose their jobs as a result of, I'll repeat what Tim said, some completely incoherent and inconsistent government strategies to deal with this virus.
Do you have any faith in the government to be able to mitigate potential job losses in the sector, Simon?
Well, there are things that, if the government are going to persist with this approach, there are things the government can still do. You know, we have a furlough scheme that is due to end at the end of October. We still, as a sector, have just over 900,000 people on furlough. The government must extend the furlough period if they're going to implement this curfew. They simply must extend it for the hospitality sector. They're going to need to give further VAT support to the sector to keep it afloat. We want to minimise, and I'm sure Tim's in the same boat as me, we want to minimise the number of jobs that are lost. And the only way that we can minimise the number of jobs that are lost is if the government extends the support that they've given so far and does not impose draconian actions on the industry.
Tim, you go along with that. Does the furlough scheme need to be extended for hospitality?
Well, you can do that. And probably you have to. It's a sticking plaster thing. The problem is you've got people running the country now who, by their actions, have no knowledge of money. Weatherspoon alone, just Weatherspoon, never mind, it's only a small part of the overall industry, pays 1,000, its customers, staff, and the company pays £1 in every 1,000 of UK taxes. You shut us down and you're already in financial problems. So there is no magic money tree for much more furlough. The problem is these jokers are ruining the country.
Do you think, Tim, that Boris Johnson's been got at by the likes of Chris Whitty and Sir Patrick Vallance then?
I don't know, but at the moment, he's definitely not up to the job. The job of someone running a business like Simon does, or I do, is to listen to what experts have to say, decide what should happen, and steer a sensible path, making sure you're listening at all times. What Boris is doing, I suspect, he's got some opinion polls that say, if you close down pubs, which a lot of people believe, then you will reduce the level of infections. The fact is, it's not true. And Boris has to explain that to people, which he's not doing, as does Michael Gove and others. So we need leadership and common sense and good economics. It's only with those things together that everyone can have the things that they expect and want from a country like Britain. The economy's being ruined fast. We're spending more money than we spend in wars, and we haven't had a war.
Simon, you've yet to reopen some of your city centre pubs, including a couple of my favourites here in the Square Mile. Is there a danger that these sites are never going to reopen?
We were planning to build momentum during September and open the remainder of our estate, and as you said, Ian, in particularly in central London. This plan to impose a curfew and also, let me remind you, tell people to carry on working from home, shut the front door, work from home, don't socialise for 6 months, is going to massively impact central London and city centres. We will have to now revisit our plan to reopen our pubs. We wanted to reopen our pubs so that we could save the jobs. That plan will have to be revisited. It's heartbreaking for everybody. And as Tim said, the logic behind this is non-existent. The evidence that pubs are part of the problem is non-existent.
All right, Simon Emily, Tim Martin, very, very tough day for you both. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. And we are tracking the toll of job losses across the economy on the Sky News Jobs Tracker. You can find it on our mobile app and website. And as you can see, it shows aviation suffering the most, but with those additional cuts today, hospitality is now increasing quickly. Well, we now know that the much debated push to get workers back to offices and other town and city workplaces is over. The Cabinet Minister, Michael Gove, says that we should now work from home wherever possible.
There is going to be a shift in emphasis, and one of the things that we are going to emphasise is that if it is possible for people to work from home, then we'd encourage them to do so. Now, it's important to stress that there are many, many, many roles which can't be performed from home. There are people in manufacturing, in construction, in retail and in other roles where we recognise that's simply impossible. And that's why we have worked to make sure that you can have COVID-secure workplaces. And we need to balance, obviously, the need to ensure that people can continue to work and indeed critically continue to go to school and to benefit from education against taking steps to try to reduce the virus.
Well, this is, of course, another huge blow for big cities like London and the businesses there that rely on commuters and workers for custom. The London Mayor, Sadiq Khan, says he wants to see even more restrictions imposed to protect public health, and soon. So just how devastating is this going to be for the UK's largest economy and for our other great cities? Well, joining me now from Westminster is London First Director of Policy, John Dickey, and I'm also joined by the Chief Executive of the London Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Richard Burge. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Richard, let me start with you. Does this mean that the government was wrong to encourage people to go back earlier in the summer?
No, it was absolutely right to encourage them to go back in the summer, and it's right for people to keep going back to work now. All businesses in London have been encouraged to reignite the economy, to get going again. If that means that they have to bring staff back in, then they should. If they can have staff working at home, great. But the important thing is to get their businesses going, talk to their clients, engage with their customers, and get our economy back on its feet.
Does this not show, though, that businesses were right to consult with their employees about a return to the office rather than just blindly doing what the government tells them?
Absolutely right. Of course they consulted with their employees because they wanted their employees to be reassured and to be confident about going back into work during a pandemic. And we can see businesses opening up all over London where that is so. I don't see why that should stop. The instructions on the government websites from the DWP and from BEIS and everyone else is exactly the same. You've got detailed instructions from the HSE how to do it. Carry on and do it. Be careful with your employees. Try and find hybrid ways of working. Stagger the working hours so they're coming in on less full trains. But it is important that you get your businesses going, and it's important that we reignite the economy. What we need government to do is to focus on the test, track and trace regime, which does not exist. I don't want a world-class test, track and trace regime. I just want one that's good enough for London to work.
Well, some strong words there. John, let me bring you in. To what extent do you think this latest government announcement is going to hamper growth in the London economy?
Well, we're going to have to see what the government actually announces this afternoon. There's been a lot of trails, but they haven't actually told us what the policy is going to be. But anything that makes it difficult for business to recover from the first wave of the pandemic, anything that makes it difficult for us to drive growth is going to have a real bad impact on the British economy as well as the London economy. And the government is right to be concerned about the rising COVID infection rate. It's right to be concerned about public health, but it also needs to be concerned about our economic health as well as our physical health, and our mental health as well as our physical health. So we want to see whatever the government announces today to deal with the uptick in infections. We want to see that evidence-based, we want to see the data behind it, and we want the government to be making the interventions that will do the most to slow the spread of COVID at the least cost to the economy.
Well, John, to that end, what do you make of what Sadiq Khan is saying? Because Sadiq Khan clearly wants restrictions on top of what the government seems to be proposing.
Well, businesses across London have spent an enormous amount of time, effort, money in complying with very complicated government guidelines on how to make premises, offices, COVID secure. Similarly, Transport for London has made extraordinary reforms to the way it runs itself in order to make journeys into work safer. And we think we need to be encouraging people to come back into their workplaces. Not every day. We want to see more people coming in more often. Some people can work at home, and that's great. But we think we need a balance. There are some things that are just not as effective, just not as much fun on a Zoom call as being with your colleagues.
Richard, Tim Martin from Wetherspoons was telling us just a moment ago that he doesn't think the government is being advised by people who understand commerce and understand economics. Do you agree with that?
Well, I just don't know whether, to what extent government is listening to science. I think that Dr. Whitty and Patrick Vallance are very good people. Their job is not to make government policy. Their job is to provide the evidence. And only yesterday, for the first time, we started to see some evidence. But there is no evidence that we have seen that reopening offices, reopening workplaces in the measured way that companies have done so far has had any deleterious impact on the growth of COVID again. So we want to see that evidence. We want to see that government is actually responding to evidence and not simply listening to evidence and then coming up with a whimsical plan.
Well, that's a really good point you just raised there, Richard. You don't think there is actually much evidence to suggest that going to the office or the workplace actually causes a rise in infections?
Well, I don't know, because I haven't seen the data that government is presumably looking at, even now in Cobra. But I can tell you, last night I was talking to Southern Rail, and on East Croydon, one of their busiest stations in the south now, in the whole period, they've only had one incidence of COVID-19 infection amongst their staff who are heavily exposed. And the reason is they've been following the rules, they've been trying to get the public to obey the rules, and the result is limited infection at a major transit point in London. So if that's a piece of evidence there, great, but I'd like to see more coherent, conclusive evidence without the filter of a politician in between me and the scientist.
Now, John, you mentioned Transport for London just now. Obviously, since this crisis got underway, we've had road closures, road narrowings, emergency cycle lanes being put up on places like Euston Road. Do you worry that it's getting much harder for commercial vehicles to cross the capital?
Well, I think what we worry about is that any of the restrictions that have been put in, any of the measures that have been put in on a temporary basis are again evidence-based, data-driven, that when we get back to a sort of new normal, anything which has been done to reduce road capacity really delivers on what it was supposed to support, modal shift, more cycling, and it isn't just there in order to make it difficult for people to get around central London by car.
And the London boroughs, John, are also introducing these traffic-free neighbourhoods all over the place as well.
And I think done well, those can be great for local communities and local areas. They've got to be sensitively introduced. They've got to be balanced with management strategies for through traffic. But we don't have a problem at all with making villages in London more attractive places to live.
All right, John Dickey, Richard Burge, good to see you both. Thanks for joining me. And we'll be finding out exactly what the new restrictions are when the Prime Minister updates MPs at around 12:30 this lunchtime. We will be bringing that statement to you live here, of course, on Sky News. Later on this evening, Boris Johnson will be addressing the nation with a Downing Street broadcast. You can watch that at 8 o'clock tonight, again live here on Sky News. Our shares of travel and aviation companies were hammered again yesterday on growing fears of yet more restrictions. It's yet more pain for an industry on its knees worldwide, and no more so here than in the UK. The likes of British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, EasyJet and Heathrow Airport have cut thousands of jobs, closed bases and routes and questioned their own survival. Well, as you can see here, shares of IAG, the owner of British Airways and Aer Lingus, are down by more than 50% for the year. EasyJet is down by some 66%, while Ryanair, Europe's largest carrier, is down by a little over 25% for the year. So how will we get flying again? And what could the recovery look like? Well, I'm joined now by Moshe Rafaya. He is the Chief Executive of Skyscanner. Moshe, welcome to you. Are you detecting signs of an improvement and a recovery anywhere in the world?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So the first signs of recovery we're seeing is actually in domestic and regional travel. And we've seen that both in Europe, but also in countries that were able to actually control the virus in a good way, like China. We've seen something like 100% back to year-on-year 2019 levels. So that's quite impressive.
So the recovery really happens when COVID-19 levels fall in the wider economy. There is a clear connection.
There is a connection, and whenever restrictions are lifted, then you definitely see a demand. We know that there is a demand for travel. We know that people want to connect and want to get back to traveling again. To give you just one example, when recently the UK removed the quarantine restrictions from Portugal, we've seen a 2,000% increased surge in demand for travel.
But this is the problem, isn't it, Moshe? I mean, how on earth can travel providers restore confidence when governments are coming up with these sort of haphazard measures? I mean, the UK government's quarantine rules, effectively, it looks like they're just sort of chucking darts at a map of the world at times.
Well, it would be nice if there was a bit more harmonization between governments and corporations. But what Skyscanner, thinking about the customers first, what we've been doing is we've actually tried to give customers more clarity and more confidence in flying. So we've introduced measures, for example, on giving them a scorecard on hygiene and safety to tell them on flights which flights require masks wearing, which do deep cleanliness. So that's one measure. Another very popular measure is introducing a filter on flexibility. So we're telling them whenever airlines are giving the ability to cancel or change the flights. And one other very popular measure is we've introduced a map, an interactive map that tells people where they can go. But not only where they can go, but also what happens when they come back and what potential restrictions may happen.
Moshe, what sort of changes are you noticing in booking patterns? I gather people are sort of looking, when they book, it's in the very, very short term that they're going to be travelling.
This is definitely one trend that we've picked up on. So currently the booking horizons are between 7 days to 30. People are more reluctant to plan longer term. We're starting to see some green shoots in inquiries about searching and traveling for next year. But so far the main bookings are people that are taking more flexible decisions and have that flexibility in a short time horizon.
Is there much of a future in all this for business travel?
With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi there! Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodoma, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of digging the hole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Hello, good people. I'm back again, and this time it's about Mama's Choice Fufu Mix. It comes in 2 flavors and it contains essential minerals and vitamins. It's gluten-free. You can grab one from the nearest Afro-Caribbean shop or the corner shop next to you. Insist it's Mama's Choice. It's certified by both the US and the UK Food Standard Boards. Grab one for yourself today. Mama's Choice. Who beg you, sir, Charlie?
Hello, lovely listeners. Tune in to the renewed show with Charlotte. Make it a date to listen to me this and every Thursday at 5 p.m. on Starr Radio UK. Tune in to an hour of power, an hour of encouragement, an hour to inspire you to stay positive and strong in this season. See you there and listen.
During the time of lockdown, we recognise that young people among us could be vulnerable and subject to abuse. This is why Amacares, an organisation that advocates against child sexual abuse, is here to assist the vulnerable amongst us. We have lined up an exciting and educative programmes that can be of help to you. Please check out our website on www.amacares.org for updates of programme. Enjoy a live chat with our team members for advice. Our online counsellors are also available to advise you and signpost you to the right governmental departments. You can reach us on 033 01 33 2415 or email us at info@amacares.org. Confidentiality is key. Thank you.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Mama, please stop crying.
Listen to Aunties Mary, Lottie and Regina on the Family Enrichment Programme on Starr Radio UK. This and every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m.
Some people are wicked because don't make it your business going about revealing
people's secrets. Don't be a busybody.
And some people. Today's typical family is under pressure from various directions. Divorce is on the increase. More and more of the Afro-Caribbean youth are taking to crime, etc. The Family Enrichment Programme brings together a team of qualified experts to discuss and shed light on how we can make our families better and stronger. It is said the family can do without the society, but the society can't. Listen to the Family Enrichment Programme this and every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Starr Radio UK, your favourite Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Download our app in iTunes and the Google Play Store.
in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Star Radio UK and the Morning Show. Good morning and welcome to Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Today is the 22nd day of the month of September, the year 2020. It is the Tuesday edition of the morning show from Star Radio UK. Of course, we are your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So once again, let me say a massive welcome to the show. Welcome. Of course, as you heard, I am Archie. But let me say good morning to my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Laimi Koiki. Wherever you are, gentlemen, good morning to you. To Felix all the way in Aberdeen, to Captain Tete, Captain Felix Tete. My apologies yesterday. I missed out on your shout out to us on the Facebook. MRS. Good morning to you and the family as well. And let me take the opportunity to say good morning to my big Reverend Michael Siama and Mrs. Elo Mesiama, Minister Elo Mesiama. Salute you all. Well, welcome once again to Star Radio UK. Mr. Kofi Ali, Ambassador Light for ECOWAS, good morning to you. Mr. David Cloche, Dr. Morton, my brother Kwame, Charlie Tete, Kavara Haven in Minnesota, Abiose, good morning. Mr. Yawin Tema Free, yay. Mr. Chief Lostaiko, aka TT. you wonderful people who have tuned in this morning to join us on the morning show. This is a program that makes things happen. And wherever you are, thank you once again. There's some other people who have also joined us on the Facebook transmission. Victor Smart Wema, wherever you are, good morning. Georgie and Moses Sumo, Mohammed Kongbe Kroma, good morning to you all. Thank you very much for joining us as well on Starr Radio UK. Now you can go a step further by sharing the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 10:37 the time, the morning show, the program. Now, if it is the first time of tuning in to listen to this program or watch this program, this is how the program goes. I will bring you the quote for the day in a jiffy. The weather forecast will follow suit and the travel updates. We'll look at some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world, including the UK. At 11 o'clock, we have Mr. Lai Mikoike, who will be coming in with updates from Nigeria. And I will move on from there to look at some other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. At 12 o'clock, the lines will be open for you to add your voice to the discussions. 12:30, we'll cross over to the Houses of Parliament for a statement by the Prime Minister pertaining to the latest information when it comes to the COVID-19 as whether there's going to be any further restrictions. But we promise you that we'll bring it to you first. So make sure your dials are still logged on Starr Radio UK wherever you are across the globe. And once again, I say welcome to the program. So it is now 10:38. Now, what does the quote for the day say? What does the quote for the day say? Yesterday lies in the memory, and today lies in the imagination of today. Yesterday lies in the memory, and today lies in the imagination of today. What do you think about that? What are you imagining? What are you creating in your mind? What do you hope to achieve? Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now moving on to the weather front. For London and the southeast of England, this is how the weather is going to be for you. It's going to be dry, fine for much of the day with sunny spells. As the afternoon goes on, cloud will start to build in with a chance of the odd spot of rain later, feeling warm again. It's going to be largely dry for most of the night with some clear spells, but cloud will gradually build in during the night. Through the early hours, scattered showers will develop, some heavy. Dropping temperature is going to be 25 degrees. The lowest is going to be 15 degrees. My apologies. 15 degrees. 25 tops, 15 the lowest. And the UV level is going to be moderate. Pollution is going to be low. Sunset 18:57. Sunrise for tomorrow morning 06:47 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast for you. Tuesday, the 22nd day of September, the year 2020. 10:40 the time. A quick break and then I bring you the travel update. So don't go away. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Yeah, so keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. So keep enough get at the Starr Radio UK travel update that comes to where every weekday from 10:40. It's not 10:41. Let's go to the roads. Let's see what is happening there. Now on the underground, good service throughout, apart from the Waterloo and City line, that is still got the planned closures. If you can avoid all that, please do avoid it. TFL Rail, London Tram Link, London Overground, DLR, all good service there. But continue to keep those eyes on the roads and keep your social distancing as well. Make sure you have your masks on. Okay, now moving on to the riverbed this morning, I can tell you shortly that as well. Good service throughout. But remember your masks, your masks, your masks. Check it out. But keep those eyes on the road. Now moving on to the National Rail, Avanti West Coast has got minor delays, cross country minor delays, Southeastern minor delays, Transport for Wales special service. Now let's move on to the major roads in London. Let me tell you what's happening on that front. On the major roads in London, A10 has got closures, A4 closures, A40 closures, Central London Red Routes closures, Blackwall Tunnel has today once again got serious delays there, and South Circular A205 serious delays there as well. Well, if you can avoid all those, feel free to do so. But if not, then you are stuck in there. Continue to listen to us on Starr Radio UK, because as and when there are any changes, we'll bring it to the fore. But on that note, let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
The best radio show.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 10:46, and let me acknowledge a couple of people who have joined us there. Irene Hammond, good morning to you. Vamba Kroma, Osman Sharif, James Sita, Shajay, Georgie, and then Mohammed Dole, wherever you are, good morning to you. Bonchi Wakia, Roosevelt Camara, Samuel Kimokai, and Aloysius James Blayon, wherever you all are. Massive good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us and sharing the broadcast with your friends and loved ones as well. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's look at some of the stories making the rounds in the world before I move on to the news that is. Before I bring you my first cavalry select choice song and have Miss Olaimi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. So wherever you are, don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, work from home, if you can, says Minister. So that is what people have been talking about, the confusion. Today, they said, oh, everybody get back to the workplace. And let's keep the workplace. And there are a few people, I know those who are extroverts, they want to be going out. They want to be at places where people are. And therefore, when they are not mingling that way, they think, the whole world is falling on us and blah, blah, blah. But there are the introverts who also want, yeah, that's a good one for us. Okay, we are in our own corner. So far as you can deliver, what's wrong with it? But I seem to understand where some people are coming from, especially when you are living in a flat, okay, or a shared house where you cannot do all the things from your bedroom, okay, and therefore maybe you have to come to the front room or maybe the sitting area, and there are others there. It makes it quite complicated for them. So people like that, I seem to understand where they are coming from. But those who think, I want to come to the office, I want us all to come to the office, well, it seems that with the rise in COVID infection going in the UK, especially in England, the changes are coming very fast. Now, work from home, if you can, says Cabinet Minister Michael Gove, says the message for England is changing as the infections surges. So, what is going to be? I'll be bringing you more of that in a jiffy. Early closing absolutely devastating for pubs. Now, the 10 p.m. curfew will make some venues unprofitable and cost jobs the industry wants. Now, how feasible or how plausible is that? Now, people are supposed to okay, let's say that if government comes out to say, okay, it's 10 o'clock that you have to close, then people will come in. People know that it's 10 o'clock, so they come in a bit earlier than normal. Those who want to cough, how many bottles that they are able to cough? I mean, they will do whatever, they will take whatever quantities and then leave at 10 o'clock. Because the problem is that when people are drinking, especially alcohol, that's what I mean, it gets to a point where it makes them feel, hey, I've not been in that mood before, so I can't tell you that. And therefore, social distancing and all that stuff, they just decide to just throw everything out of the window and then just, hey, and then, so that's where some, the experts are coming from, that it could be one of the causes of the surge. However, the experts in that industry are saying that, well, what percentage of people who have been infected have been infected from the hospitality industry sector? I mean, those who have visited maybe restaurants and pubs who said, oh yeah, that was where we got our COVID from. I remember last Friday when we went out to a restaurant and the social distancing, I was like, wow, actually I didn't touch anything apart from the table where I sat. I didn't touch any, the doors were already open. You just walk through it, you go. The only thing is that I pulled the chair that I'm supposed to sit on, sat down and pull it back, pull it in. Behind us, there was a table there, but no one was sitting on that. So it was after that. So every other table is where people were sitting. So you look at all those things, measures that they put in place. But bringing the time to 10 o'clock for them to close down, you think it's going to have a devastating impact on them? After all, knowing what is going to happen, if I have to go and eat in a restaurant or go to the pub, I will go on time to make sure that I enjoy whatever thing that I want to enjoy. What about that? Well, it is already UK. Maybe you have a diverse view to that and you want to share. Feel free once the lines are open. Plans for fans to return in October is off. The proposed gradual return of fans to live sports events in England from 1st October is put on hold. And some people are saying that it's going to have a devastating impact on the football itself. What do you think about all that? Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, some other stories. UK Bank may have moved terrorism-linked money. Still pertains to that document that was leaked. Leaked documents show Standard Chartered moved funds that may have been linked to terror financing. I think now when they are transferring the money, they have to put what up. This one is terror. This one is friendly. This one is business. What kind of business? Well, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So now let me bring you a detail of one of the stories and then we can move on one that is making the headlines here in the UK. Now, people in England should work from home if they can to reduce social mixing and slow the spread of the virus, Michael Gove had said. Now, the Cabinet Office Minister said trials of spectators at sports fixtures will be paused. It comes as pubs, bars, restaurants and other hospitality venues in England are told they must have a 22 hours closing time from Thursday. For details, my apologies, full details will be set out by the Prime Minister in Parliament later, and that is 12:30, where I said we're going to be bringing you that. And Boris Johnson is meeting the First Minister of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland and will address the nation in a live broadcast at 20 hours BST on Tuesday. As well as the early closing time for hospitality venues, he's expected to announce they will be restricted by law to table service only. In July, the Prime Minister said people should start to go back to work now if you can. And last month, the government launched a campaign to encourage workers back to offices. But Mr. Gove this morning said, we are stressing that it is safe to work in your workplace. If you are in a COVID secure workplace, then you should be there if your job requires it. But if you can work from home, you should. Starr Radio UK. Quite interesting comments coming from number 10. Now, interestingly, one thing that has boggled me during this COVID is when they were bringing restrictions for people who were traveling from Greece and all that, coming back to the UK, and they will say that, okay, this Saturday by 4 a.m. if you don't get here, when you come in, you have to isolate. Now, the problem is, if people are gone to infected areas, and you are telling them that they have to, they are asymptomatic at the time, they will just rush in. And once they come in, it will later on that they're going to be developing this. And they might have already spread the virus. So at times I ask myself, what is the sense in that? If you think that the thing is such that we have to just lock it down, we have to just stop people from behaving or doing particular things, we have to close the pubs on time. We say that from today we are doing that, because the moment you leave that window of opportunity, 2 days, 3 days, or the people, or few hours, people just rush in who might have been infected. Well, the death rate is not as bad as it was during the March, April, June time, where it was hitting very high figures. However, some people are of the view that, well, if somebody has lost even one person in their family, a loved one, it's very dear to them and it's very, very important. But what do you think about all that? Starr Radio UK. We'll be coming to it in a jiffy. But some other stories making the rounds in the world today. Trump plan to fill Supreme Court spot Garden space. The president appears to have enough support in the U.S. Senate to win approval for his nominee. So he would have approved three. He would have had 3 judges appointed by him, where he is thinking that, well, it will be to his interest. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, yes. Now, Mark Chapman has apologized to the late Beatles widow, Yoko Ono, for his murder in 1980. Okay, and 2 arrested over rape of child in rural France. NASA releases plan for moon return by 2024. Are they going to the moon, or they are going somewhere in the desert? Okay, Starr in the UK. Your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We'll be taking a musical break in a jiffy, but just bear with me with some of the other headlines. How Mali's coup affects the fight against jihadists are some of the stories making around. The EU imposes sanctions over Libya's arms embargo, and the soldiers jailed for killings captured on video. Cameroon initially dismissed the film of 2 women and 2 children being shot as fake news, but it's found out that it was real. It was a true story, and the soldiers have been dismissed. Have been jailed for. Okay, they've been captured, so they are now supposed to go through the legal regime, and then if they are found guilty, they will be jailed. Well, those are some sort of stories making the rounds on the African continent as well. Starr Radio UK. The final one before I bring you the music. We need you to fight COVID-19. GHS appeals to striking nurses. The nurses are on strike in Ghana. The Ghana Health Service is calling them that, hey, we need you to come and help us fight. Now, it is a good time for them, right? Now that they are holding government to ransom, will government budge? That is a question that we are asking. And is it the right thing to do in this time? Assess Mahama on his track record, not promises. Nana Akomia to Ghanaians. I know when it comes to election time and the campaign time, we have everybody saying whatever they want. But let me bring you some music that will make your morning. Before I go on, let me see a couple of people. Mohammed Bobo Diakiti and then Victoria Juanipe. Wherever you are, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us. And to as many of you who have joined us this morning as well, enjoy this song from Sammy Oposo. And it says, Hallelujah.
Hey, pump it up. Allah! Come on. Where my dancers at? I am. My hands, my feet, my whole body. All that I am. Sing hallelujah.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
We gotta chant the name of Jesus. Who keeps blessing you? Jesus. Come on. Jesus. Who keeps blessing you? Jesus. Let me hear you. Jesus. Who keeps healing your body? Jesus. Jesus. Who keeps raising you? Jesus. Oh my God. Jesus. My hands. Oh yeah, no. My feet. Oh yeah, no. My whole body. All that I am. We sing hallelujah. Somebody say yes. Tell your neighbor. I will.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Online on mobile. CDAE. This is Starr Radio UK, leading African Caribbean radio station.
Yes, wherever you are, sing hallelujah, sing hallelujah. From Samuel Koso.
Where my dancers at?
But some of the stories we'll be looking at this morning on updates from Nigeria. Boko Haram kills Nigerian army colonel in an ambush. Aha! Colonel DC Bako is the commander of Sector 2 Operation Lafia Do, fighting the Boko Haram insurgency. He was killed this morning in Bono. Now, would that mean that now government is going to raise the whole fight against the Boko Haram? So Lime Koike will come and give you more explanation to that. And a special anti-robbery squads shot this young man dead in the peaceful eastern region of Nigeria, Egocha, in Port Harcourt. His offense is being a Biafran and refusing to unlock his own mobile phone. Wow! Maybe this time around we have to do a Biafran Life Matters. Or Oludua Matters. Okay, Starr Radio UK.
Somebody say yes. Tell your neighbor. I will. Why not? Join me, give it right. Why not? Let us give it right. Everything that is done. I will. Join me, give it right. Let us give it right. Everything that is done. I will. Why not? Join me, give it right. Why not? Let us give it right. Everything that is done. I will. Come on. Join me, give it right. Why not? Who keeps blessing you? Jesus. Jesus, Jesus. Who keeps blessing you? Jesus. Let me hear you. Jesus, Jesus. Who keeps healing your body? Jesus. Jesus, Jesus. Who keeps raising you? Jesus. Oh my God. Jesus, Jesus. My head, my feet, my whole body, all that I am. Come on. We'll sing hallelujah to you. I don't know about it, you can just do. My head, my feet, my whole body, all that I am. Sing hallelujah to you. Everything that I am will sing hallelujah to you. My head, my feet, my whole body, everything that I am will sing hallelujah to you. Why not?
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 6 minutes past 11, and it is the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Well, at this juncture, you know that we'll have no other person but the one and only Ms. Olaimi Koiki joining us to bring us updates from Nigeria. But one of the troubling stories that is brought out this morning that is quite worrying is the killing of an army colonel in an ambush by Boko Haram. You want to know more? Just stay tuned. Don't go away. I have Mr. Olaimi Koiki for you. Yomi, good morning to you.
Yes, a very good morning, Mr. Archie. Good morning to you, Frank, in the studio. Good morning to all the other Starr Radio presenters. And a very good morning, good afternoon, or good night to all our viewers from around the world. And we would like to welcome you again to the morning show.
Yes, how have you been?
Well, sorry we couldn't make it down yesterday, but yes, it's been a very good time to be alive. As long as you're alive, like I always say, there is still hope, regardless of so many situations that is happening around us, especially with the COVID-19. I am doing very well. It's been a very busy weekend. I'll be telling you a little bit about what has happened over the weekend, especially when we were reporting in central London in Trafalgar Square, where there was a COVID protesters, against the government. And again, like I said, right behind me, the weather is quite sunny. But I will advise, if you're going out, continue to make sure that you take all the precaution, as we will continue to report to you right here on Starr Radio UK, the latest development and the numbers that might be up in about 50,000 by the middle of October for the second wave of the COVID-19. I will hand over back again to you in the studio.
Yes. That's a good one. Update from there. And I know that Mr. Olaimi Koiki is social distancing. You can see him outside there in a nice sunshine. I think it's going to be the last one before we have a very cold and rainy week from tomorrow. But thank God we are still alive and we are kicking. But sad story. Boko Haram kills Nigeria Army Colonel in an ambush. Colonel D.C. Bako is the commander of the Sector 2 operation Lafiado, fighting the Boko Haram insurgency. What more do you know about that, Yomi?
Well, the news, break out just about less than 24 hours ago. Boko Haram, as we know, has been, one of the most deadliest, terrorist group. But let me take you back, to the Obama regime. When Obama was there, they refused to put Boko Haram as part of the the terrorist group during the Obama regime. But what could have changed? Now we know that it is not just terrorizing the citizen; it is also taking some of our brilliant, gallant soldiers that have also become the victim of Boko Haram. Boko Haram have been terrorizing for a very long time, but it seems the government is not really getting the grip of it. And who knows what could have happened when this Nigerian army that has now confirmed the death of a colonel after a Boko Haram ambush. Let us explain what an ambush means. Ambush is a very, very difficult time, that does takes place. We've seen that, around the world. And when you get ambushed, that means it's either there's an intelligence that knows that you will be around that area or you will be moving your convoy. And let's talk about ambush. Ambush is a surprise attack, again, by not just the people now, but Boko Haram, one of the most deadliest and the terrorist group around the world, lying in wait in a concealed position. So that means the chances for the colonel and his troop to have survived it is very, very slim. Let's go a little bit further into the story. According to the Nigerian army that has confirmed the death of the colonel after an ambush by the Boko Haram terrorists, the army described this Ibako as one of the gallant and the finest war hero. But the question remains is, how could a colonel be moving and yet there was a kind of an ambush? What intelligence does the Boko Haram have ahead of this colonel moving? And again, it also takes us back to Dr. Obadiah that says that, not just the Boko Haram are already in the southwest, but we can still see that they are very, very active and they are ready to take anyone that might be ready to kill them as well. I'll go back straight to you in the studio, and it is Starr Radio UK.
It's a very sad one. It's a very sad one, especially when we look at the statement that Dr. Badia made in the past and ascertaining that there are some people, who top hooks who are linked with Boko Haram, and this will, people who are of that view will be agreeing to it. And look, how can a colonel be passing or be driving through a particular place with his convoy or with his team and then be attacked? That means that there have been some intel that this person is passing through this place at this time, and that's why they lay wait for him, ambushed him, and have killed him. Now, what statement has the government made about it? Is it raising the fight against the Boko Haram? Are they now going to put more troops on the ground? And like, remember when the IG was told that he should go to some particular state, by the president instructed him, and he decided, look, I'm not going to go, because I don't know whether he was scared of what was happening and decided, well, I'll be staying somewhere else. Now, with the killing of a colonel, do you think people or the soldiers are still have that upbeat, are still enthused to go and see to fight the Boko Haram?
Well, it is not the first time that the members of the public have not seen any response yet from the federal government on the killing of this colonel. The government takes their time to respond, especially to issues that are affecting not just the country but also the citizen at large. And only the government will be able to respond to why that takes a bit of time. But what we do know is it is not the first time that people are asking why has it been 6 years for the same security operative, and yet the changes of this operative have not taken place in the 6 years of this government when they came in 2015, and yet the killings continue to take place, just like the colonel that was killed in less than 24 hours ago.
Listeners, Starr Radio UK, may his soul rest in peace, but we hope that the government is going to work on it assiduously to make sure that we bring Boko Haram to justice. That's what I can say there. Which are some of the other stories making the round, sir?
Well, you just mentioned about another killing that took place in Port Harcourt, about the young boy that was killed for refusing to unlock his phone. You would have thought, what could have led, these situation where, again, the security operative that is meant to protect lives and property. We do not condone any crime, and we have not had any information that this particular person is a criminal that is wanted. But what we do know is, according again, this is now from from Governor Wike, the governor of River State, that have just come up also on his Twitter handle, the brutal killing of a young, vibrant man in Port Harcourt by the men of the SARS Special Anti-Robbery Squad unit of the police Nigeria is unacceptable. We will have and we will continue to clamor for reformation, outright dissolution of the SARS, because they have become a menace to the society. Again, the question that still remains is, why has this continuation of killings of young Nigerians, either for their dress mode or the way they look, and they believe that any young youth in Nigeria of today should not be able to have a quality life? If you have an iPhone, even somebody said to me during my program yesterday that for the fact that he was not holding an iPhone, but the cable of an iPhone was in the vehicle, they insisted to see that particular phone, until he said he doesn't own the phone, he only have the cable right inside him. The question then goes back to, how long more will the federal government wait until more SARS kills more innocent people for refusing, and I said refusing, to unlock his mobile phone.
Listeners, that's a very sad one there. But I'll be asking you a question on that in just a moment. Sahid Oro Olohun Ogwagbaye. I hope I pronounced your name well. Good morning to you as well. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast as well. But Yomi, first of all, what is the SAS? The the SAS. What is it?
SARS is a special anti-robbery squad that was set up not to run after the youth in Nigeria, but to run after criminal element of those, that are terrorizing, the citizens. But they've become another kind of an extortion. And I use my word carefully because it is not the first time that SARS have worked with with individuals very close to the bank proximately and asked them to withdraw money. What they do is they're not meant to do those kind of activities. But the moment a youth is stopped, we understand we have some individuals of criminality among some of the youth that are performing what they call 419, or we call them Yahoo, which is a kind of illegal extortion of money from those that are outside the country. So if you get stopped and you have a mobile phone, you're driving a good car, the tendency that they will then ask you to give them the balance of your account, and then whatever the balance is, you might be ready to give some as part. Let's take you back to another killing of sorts that took place of a footballer that we did mention here on this program named Tiamiu. Tiamiu was killed just for the same reason, driving a car, but only for the SARS not to understand that it was just a local footballer, but they end up killing him, and that triggered a lot of fights in Ogun State, where SARS has now been completely, disbanded from there. Is this going to happen in Rivers State? The governor of Rivers State, Wike, is already voicing out to say it is time now, just like a lot of people are saying, a total dissolution out of Nigeria, but he doesn't say so. He says a total dissolution of SARS in Rivers State.
Listen, that's a very sad one for somebody just having a mobile phone and they say, unlock your mobile phone, and it says, I'm not going to do that, and you shoot the person dead. Well, whoever he is, his life matters, and we hope that authorities will do the necessary investigation to find out exactly what caused them to kill him. Sahid said, well, I'm mentioning his name. Good, Sahid, thank you very much. Ayodele Odua says, well done to Koiki, wherever you are. Okay, Ayodele, good morning to you. Now, let's move on to some other stories making the rounds, Yomi.
There was a story that came onto my timeline while I was getting ready to join the studio this morning, and I'm just gonna put that story up because again it is one that we've talked about so many times, of not just corruption in Nigeria, but sometimes some of these corruptions are reason why a lot of people are living in an extreme poverty. According to the World Poverty clock that says Nigeria now is #1 country in the world where people cannot live in under $1 a day. But why some people cannot live in $1 a day? And this is a story that is getting, the source is Daily Trust newspaper in Nigeria, says agency illegally took 5.8 trillion naira from the federal government account, according to a report. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, also known as the NNPC, the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, and the Federal Inland Revenue, FIRS, have made illegal deduction from the Federation account that estimate to about 5.78 trillion naira between 2014 and 2017, according to the audit report of the Auditor General of the Federation. This was disclosed in Abuja during the presentation of the 2014-2017 Federal Audit Report by the Center for Social Justice. The report was supported by the European Union and the British Council. The report presented the program officer CSG Fadilis shows NNPC led unauthorized deduction with total of about 4.5 trillion, and the inland revenue follow with about 951 billion, and while the DPR follow with about 335 billion. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians would like to know where those money have been and what the purpose of the deduction as well. Let's go back to some of the other headlines as we continue on Star Radio UK where we bring you what is happening around the world. But this time of the hour, we take you around some of the news that is happening in Nigeria. U.S., according to FinCEN files, U.S. probes Obasanjo Jonathan over the Malibu OPL 245 fund transfer. It's a lot of time we talk about different OPL. What does the OPL mean? These are the kind of the oil wealth that we have in the country, and it seems sometimes they are either being sold for not the actual price or because somebody also wants to take a kickback. So let's take a look into the story. According to this report coming out today, two former Nigerian presidents, Olusegun Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan, were probed for years by the United States authorities through the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, an agency of the U.S. Department of Treasury. What is the reason behind that? According to the files show that financial records of the former Nigerian leaders were closely scrutinized in relation to the investigation about the Malibu OPL 245 scandal. Both men were probed alongside other individuals and companies suspected to have been involved in the controversy scheme. Details of the probe are part of the FinCEN files, a new investigation by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, BuzzFeed, and 108 media partners across the world, also including the Premium Tide. The files are a large volume of confidential financial reports relating to transaction activities, just as we've been monitoring some of the activities of the HSBC, where so many illegal funds seem to be coming through United Kingdom and London in precisely as well. Let's go back to some of the headline, and I'm going to come back straight to you in the studio. Edo State eventually told the Lagos Babylon also says that Edo will not be part of the godfatherism, where the election result has now favored Obaseki as against the APC candidate of the president and also the former chairman and the APC national chairman that were all in Edo State, where there was a lot of tussle, but eventually Obaseki moved away from APC, contested under PDP, and is also continuity, as they say, in Edo State, while APC will probably have to strategize and see the way forward as well. Nigeria total coronavirus now death has now hit about 1,100, 1 dead, 20 injured. Again, fresh elder farmer clashes in Jigawa. That is also the headline. And like we also say, the Nigerian Army colonel killed in Boko Haram ambush. Let's talk about some of the other headlines as well. NCAA vows to revoke airline license for non-compliance with COVID-19 protocol. EFCC have also now rearranged an ex-minister for alleged fraud. Impact of COVID-19 greater on women, according to minister. Nigeria spent 8.9 trillion naira on subsidy in the last 10 years. I will take one more, come back to it in the studio, and like we say, we remember the helicopter crash that took place in Lagos. We now seem to have a preliminary report about it. The Accident Investigation Bureau, AIB, yesterday issued a preliminary report on how the Corum helicopter crashed into a building in Okpebi in Lagos State on August 28 this year. 3 men were in the helicopter which crashed. 2 bodies were recovered at the accident scene, taken to the mortuary, while the 3rd victim was taken to Lasso, where he later died. According to AIB, which had retrieved the black box of the helicopter for investigation to the releases preliminary report on the site, according to the report, the helicopter had a valid certificate of airworthiness, but the pilot's last medical examination was valid only up to the 6th of August. So what happened for a pilot not to have given the right guideline before he embarked on that journey? May the soul of the 3 those that have died continue to rest in peace. Again, safety, not just only on the space, down onto the bottom. We've seen a lot of death with the transportation, but this time around, it was an helicopter crash that took place on the 28th of August. I will then hand over back again to you in the studio. It is Star Radio UK.
Listen at Star Radio UK, Mr. Laimi Koike bringing you updates from Nigeria. Sad stories being brought up. Now, one story that I wanted to look at is the deduction by the NNPC of 4.5 trillion naira. And some people are asking the question, where did that money go? But before you answer, let me say good morning to Tommy, Lola, Agnes. Say God bless
all
you.
the way from US.
Yes, all the way from US. So good morning to you there as well. Yes. So where did that money go to?
Well, it will have gone for so many things. We've seen, it is only in Nigeria that people travel on a convoy for a conference that could have done in Nigeria. And sometimes, until we start getting exactly the nitty-gritty of what the money has been used for, and I hope it is not part of those money where individuals were ordering pizza from London straight to Abuja on a BA aircraft. Once again, it shows the negligence of our money that should have been put in place to solve so many problems across the country, but individuals have used those money for their own selfish gain. But I'm sure we are waiting for the report of where trillions of money, and like I said, however, the NNPC and the DPR have denied the claim of illegal deducting of the 4.5 trillion and the 334 billion, respectively. The agency said they couldn't have deducted from the account since they run on a cashless account. But sometimes we've seen people taking bank cards out of the country and they make the withdrawal outside the country. But it doesn't have to be cash. There's a lot of other transaction that goes on behind the scenes. Also, according to the DPR spokesman, Paul says the audit report was old and the agency has since debunked the claim made in it. It was not possible to illegally deduct from the Federation account when the cashless policy is in place. According to the NNPC spokesman, says also NNPC didn't deduct any Federation account. They are both denying this, but I'm sure we'll have to wait and see what next.
Well, it says what next? We have what is the name of this man? Is it Mugu? Oh no, it's not Mugu. I've forgotten the name. Mago. His case has been going on for ages. Up to now, he says I didn't take the money. I didn't. But so 4.5 trillion. Maybe one day we'll come to get some answers from it. Now, the other one that is worrying me is the 8.9 trillion naira that the OPL government uses to subsidize the fuel costs in Nigeria. And the thing is, people are actually not enjoying whatever revenue that is coming from the oil, okay, nationally. So if the only bit that they can get is through the subsidy that government gives for on the fuel cost, then why should government stop? Because remember, sometime last week government was saying that they were going to withdraw that subsidy, and we know that the prices of fuel is rocketing, and people were complaining about it. So what is all that about?
Well, it still goes back to not having the full capacity running of the refinery until we continue to extract the crude oil that has been given as a natural resource, number 6 in the world. But yet, we couldn't for over decades build a standard refinery that will end up refining this product and then give cushion and a bit of support to those that took. But what has been happening for years is it is more cheaper, it is more better, because the benefit is there for some individual to extract this crude oil, move the extraction of the crude oil, and I'm talking about in a large quantity, and then refine it in another country and then bring it back. I'm sure you have shaken your head. This is where the whole magic comes in, and we call it the magic wonder. Again, rather than the refinery producing, they are making a loss and they continue to feed and pay staff. I would have thought maybe by now all the staff should have been told to go back home, since we are not doing any kind of production in some of those refineries. And it is quite sad, because a lot of Nigerians are paying heavily as we speak right now. About 160 naira per liter. A lot of people are not even turning on the generator anymore, since there's no light and they can't afford a petrol that has been subsidized. Again, the whole subsidy has been a kind of corruption from the top to the bottom, has been the reason why. The question is, by Sonny Okozo, which way Nigeria?
Listen to Starr Radio UK. Aya Brown, good morning to you. Say thanks, Yummy, for the good job there. Good.
Watching all the way from Dublin.
Oh, from Dublin. Okay, regards to all of you in Republic of Ireland. Now, let's come to the accident. My apologies. There is this oil refinery that Dangote is undertaking. How far with that? Do you have any information pertaining to that?
Well, we do know that the Dangote refinery is coming up onto the scene, very soon. There's been a lot of work that is going on. but the refinery itself is something that the federal government believes that they will be able to save. Let's take you into what we know about a week ago, from the information coming out, and this is, says ahead of the Dangote refinery takeoff, a fresh revelation has emerged that the project will not reduce the cost of the premium motor spirit, also known as the petrol. So a lot of people that believe that the Dangote refinery will reduce the price and the cost of the petrol in the country. This is a sad news for you that as at 14th of September, when this story was coming out, that will not change the cost of the price, popularly known as the petrol. According to the Vanguard, findings shows that the pump price of petrol will not drop significantly even if Nigeria is refine crude oil locally. The Dangote refinery is expected to commence operation next year with a refinery capacity of about 650 barrels of crude oil per day.
Oluwa Botemi Akindele, good morning to you. Hope you are doing very, very well. Okay, so we know even if Dangote's refinery start working, it's not going to show any significant reduction in the fuel prices in Nigeria. Well, we hope to get to that place once the oil refinery is up and running. We'll visit that story again and see the impact there, because we know for sure there are some movers and shakers going on who are doing their best to make sure that the prices of fuel goes high so that they can make big monies at the back of the general public. It is Starr Radio UK. Let's go back to Yomi for other stories making the rounds, sir.
Let's just take some of those that is trending on Twitter. As a radio station, we love to go around and see what is really trending as we speak in hours and seconds. And this individual on the Twitter handle says, by the Twitter handle at Shawnee Fee 3 hours ago, I just remember when I got into Nigeria from UK last year, I opened my luggage to find out that my iPhone 7 Plus and the Samsung Galaxy both I bought from my friend have been taken out of the luggage. Also, I have another one says at Adetutu Balogun at Tutsi 22. Teacher, who is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Sule, General Muhammad Buhari. Teacher, then why do you write the Kaaba? That is also, I'm sure. Also, another one from another Twitter handle says, Burna Boy album African Giant gets certified silver in the UK. And likewise, again from one of the other mainstream media says Malaysia started from the GDP capital level below Nigeria in 1985, and that is by the former emir of Kano, Sanusi. If we remember, we were the one that gave the seed of the palm oil to Malaysia, and Malaysia now is the #1 palm oil producer in the world, while Nigeria that gave it to them as the 1985 is still struggling to even have the palm oil circulated in the country. We'll take one more. There's still a lot of conversation going on with the young boy that was killed in Port Harcourt, but again, another Twitter handle at Nigerian Story, according to 1 hour ago, in modern day Lagos was founded by the Awori in the 13th century. It was later called Eko. The Portuguese explorer Roy de Scuria, who visited the area in 1472, named the area around city Lago de Curamo. The present name is Portuguese for lakes. I'll go back straight to you in the studio as we continue to just wind it down from here.
Yes, Lagos means lake. It's a Portuguese language. Okay. Sahid says, Ijebu man, good job. I didn't know that you're from Ijebu.
Yeah,
but listen,
Ogun
State. Okay. Listen, I'm going back to Mr. Lani Kwaki for him to run up the discussions for this morning. But that is my little boy down there making sure that he is the production manager there. So just bear with us. He has to see to it that the camera and everything is rolling very well. Yes, Yomi, before we go, what do you have about Oduduwa?
Well, the question remains is, we are also going ahead with the rally as planned. The London will continue to monitor because of the spike of the second wave of the coronavirus. But the rally will still hold in all over the world. But just again in Nigeria, we saw, the leader, Professor Banji Akintoye, came out with the video over the weekend, and I believe that video has also giving the confidence back again to so many Oduduwa and Yorubas across the world of what is actually going on inside Nigeria as well. But one thing also is there is also a lot of conversation. I did listen to one of the the KBC in one of the broadcasts yesterday, also giving a lot of confidence that yes, we have to stand on our own, and that doesn't mean we'll continue to have a kind of hatred around the other ethnic group as well. But one thing is that until the Oduduwa, the Yoruba have their own nation, then we can use the full capacity of what we have as revenue and what we have as skills of all the Yoruba across the world to rebuild a nation compared to what we have at the moment, because we are all different when it comes to cultural and other aspects of things as well. So that is where we are, but it's just about less than 10 days to one of the biggest rally that will be taking place as well. Also, from information that I've been receiving as well, it seems the Biafra are doing the opposite. They've been asked to sit down at home.
Okay. Whatever it is, the 1st of October will come and we'll see what happened from there. But let me say thank you very much to Engineer Badebo Balagon. He says, good one. Thank you very much for joining us on Facebook as well. But, Yummy, before you go, what else do you want to say?
Well, all I have to say is that let's continue to monitor even those of us that will be going out to the rally all over the world, the face masks, the angel, and also the social distancing is very, very important. And likewise, to those of us in UK, let us make sure that we continue to follow the UK guideline. As Star Radio UK will keep you up to date, as I know we'll be heading to the Prime Minister, in the next couple of minutes or so, just to get the latest of what is happening, and we'll be here to report it. Download the apps, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to Star Radio UK on YouTube channel, so that you never miss any information coming out as well. Have a very good morning.
Good morning to you, and thank you very much, Yummy. All right, then, listeners, that was Mr. Olaibi Koiki. I'll bring you updates from Nigeria on this morning's updates. It comes your way every weekday, 11 o'clock. I bring you updates from Nigeria, a new one and a good one from there. So to all of you who have joined us on that platform, we say kudos. Continue to share the broadcast and don't leave us. Just be with us. We'll bring you more stories. And like we announced earlier on, exactly at 12:30, we'll take you to the House of Parliament for the Prime Minister's statement pertaining to the latest with coronavirus. COVID-19. Somebody says it's 19 years, and look at the way it's rampaging the whole world. What if it becomes 21? Well, Star Radio UK. Okay, we take this music and then we'll continue with the program. This is Under Pressure from Raskimono. Morning also to Osatola Dini. Thank you very much as well. Say well done, Mr. Hammond. Well done, Mr. Olaibi Koiki as well. Thank you very much.
smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
Under pressure. No food, we belly. No money in our pocket. No bed, we ate. The people, they must suffer. In a ghetto, in a city, everywhere that we go, we see them. Some are cry, some are die, some are weeping, some are wailing. Everywhere that we go, under pressure we will, under pressure, everybody under pressure, black and white, under pressure, Europeans under pressure. Can't get no food if you go feel we belly. Philippine you too, no have no mother. Philippine you too, no have no father. Philippine you too, no have no brother. Philippine you too, no have no sister. I'm a king, no me just shout it to you. Shout at this, I want me not go shout it all day. Hey, under pressure we will, under pressure, Europeans under pressure, Africans under pressure, Nigerians under pressure.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes.
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Whole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 11:45. In the next 45 minutes, we'll be opening the lines for you to add your voice to the discussion. Like I say all the time, if it happens that maybe you are pressed with time and therefore you want to share your take on any of the issues with us, feel free to do so. It doesn't matter. from whatever we've discussed to others that we've not even looked at. Maybe you are the one who is bringing us the information pertaining to what is happening in your area, whatever it is. Feel free to do so. But remember, at 12 o'clock, the lines will be open. 12:30 will take you to the Houses of Commons for the Prime Minister's statement pertaining to the COVID-19, where the federal restrictions that government is going to be unrolling today. We will be bringing you that straight so that you don't miss a thing. So keep your dial still logged on Starr Radio UK, because we'll make sure that we deliver on that promise. But wherever you are, welcome to the program. Let me say, Bobby Black, wherever you are, good morning to you. I said, yes, clapping there. Thank you for that emoji as well. Okay, go with me, Mr. Frank Davis in the house. We'll be going to him, but let's take one other commercial, and then we come to Mr. Frank Davis. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 11:47. And like I announced earlier on, I've got with me Mr. Frank Davis in the house. Let's go to him for his greeting as well. Frank, morning to you.
Morning, Archie. Good morning to our listeners and wherever they are, our viewers. I will say good morning to them. What else can we say?
How have you been?
Actually, I've been good. I've been very, very good following events around the world, post-election, what is happening in Nigeria, and again monitoring the COVID and looking at what is happening in the US and in Ghana to what is happening, especially with the voters register now being displayed. Checking about what exactly is going on over there.
Okay. Well, listeners, Mr. Frank Davis, giving you areas where he's been looking at this morning. But like I told you, we'll make sure that at 12:30 we'll take you to number 10, the Houses of Commons for that update from the Prime Minister. Okay.
Actually,
yes.
Before we go into anything else, there is an issue, breaking news that is coming again relating to Ghana elections. That's coming from the Supreme Court as we speak. This is a major ruling. It might seem a very small, but it has a lot of implications.
Okay.
Now the breaking news that the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of the NDC parliamentary candidate for Cape Coast North constituency, Honorable Dr. Kobina Menta. Now what happened was this man registered and the EC took his ID card from him because they claim that someone challenged his residence status. Now the High Court then in Cape Coast, when they took the issue to court, the High Court in Cape Coast then ruled in favor of the Electoral Commissioner, which means that technically he will not even be qualified to contest as a parliamentary candidate in that. So he took the issue. His lawyers, led by Tameklu, Mr. DJ Tameklu, took the issue to the Supreme Court. News coming out from the Supreme Court a few minutes ago suggests that the Supreme Court has ordered the Electoral Commission to allow the candidate to register, be given the card, and entitled to vote. Actually, this is very important because it has implication for a lot of other cases. We understand that another court case is being considered and might be filed even this morning, which is for the Supreme Court to interpret the rights of a citizen who has gone to register, has been given a voter's ID card, has gone to verify their name, and on election day, if they go and their names are not, on the register, and therefore cannot cast their vote, do not forget, they've gone to register, they've been presented with an ID card, they've gone to check, first complaint probably that their names were not there, has been reinstated. On election day, they go and their name is not there. What happens? Would EC be qualified or be allowed to declare the results without those people voting? What happens if the number is so huge? Would that election be called? And so we understand there's an issue that might be filed at the Supreme Court for interpretation of the rights of a citizen who have done all they have to do under the
and their names
but the institution has failed them and therefore deprived them of their legitimate right to participate in one of the most sacred privileges and responsibilities that a citizen could have under the law.
That is an interesting update from Ghana. We hope that because definitely it's going to open lots of legal challenges because people are going to come out. Those who have got their names, maybe they go to register at the place, and some people were saying that you don't come from this place, and therefore you will not be allowed to. With this ruling by the Supreme Court, I think there's going to be lots of challenges. But do you think that we have enough time for those challenges to take place?
I do believe that the political parties, MPP, NDC, especially those two major parties, they've done enough over the years to be able to know who qualifies to contest for an election. And therefore, when you're dealing with those two parties, especially if someone has gone through the vetting process, I do not take for granted if MPP assemble a team, for instance, to vet their parliamentary candidate. So for them to qualify the person to contest, same goes to NDC, to contest as a parliamentary candidate, they might have done a bit of due diligence on the person, might have checked a bit of what they call residential status and other things, what the EC was said, what is known. So if they satisfy themselves that they've met, they have lawyers. For EC to just come and say, or someone complain, therefore, first you're calling the party stupid in the first place. And I'll give the benefit of the doubt to the institutional memory, experience, and ability of MPP and NDC to, on certain levels, be able to get certain things right rather than the electoral commission.
Yeah. Well, we hope that this will. Like I said, it's open. It should give people the opportunity to challenge whatever irregularities when it comes. But as to whether, like question that you asked, as to whether if there are lots of anomalies pertaining to people not finding their names on the election day, and it's a huge sum of quantity of people, whether the EC will have the right to declare will be something that they will have to go to the court for interpretation.
Because do not forget, the election will in part both. The election is going to be both local and national. In terms of a parliamentary candidate. So let's assume if you deprive 10 people, and let's say someone has won election marginally by let's say 2 votes, 10 votes, 5 votes, and if it happens that 20 people have not voted, are you declaring that person as the victor who has won that parliamentary seat without knowing where they belong? There are a lot of legal issues that people want to explore prior to the elections, so that you not be an afterthought thing. Because what we're seeing over here now, where a lot of names, people are going, they can't find names, ID cards are not being printed, and all those kind of stuff. What is the guarantee? Yesterday NDC were addressing the media. They claim 2 sets of registers were given them. The first register that was sent to them after they requested, because they wanted to print the register for all their polling agents. The EC, waited until last minute, gave them a register, and then less than 72 hours come to tell them that the register they've given them is a wrong one. Okay, where did you get the first register from? We also now understand that the EC, the first register they exhibited the first day, could have been a wrong register. So how come that we all registered and there was one register that has a chunk of name missing, then you declare that wrong? The other one has more names, that's why you call it right. What is the guarantee that on election day you are not going to bring the wrong one?
I think they have to inspect it. They have to let
Are you getting me?
polling agent.
And at that very point in time, it might be too late for people to go and correct. And what you see, tensions flaring. And one tension flaring, you basically, getting the point where people begin to agitate. If the Constitution can, or if the Supreme Court can set out the ball rolling now and say, okay, fine, those who, like we had in time, 2008, you recall there was an opportunity that they were supposed to go and vote again, and it never happened anyway. If we can have that there and say, okay, fine, those who could not vote can, and who have their voters ID card, if on that day they could not vote, they will be given an opportunity for their votes to be counted in one way or the other before those parliamentary seats or whatever are declared, those results are declared. Then people know that when they go to the police station, their names are even not there. They might not be. So it's a pills building mechanism that you need to preempt what is likely to happen.
I think it's very important. They need to do that. And then the other question that I want to find out is pertaining to the campaign that is going on. How is the social distancing going on there?
Actually, the social distancing, both parties to the largest extent have thrown the social distancing this into the dogs. Yesterday I witnessed a video that was coming. In fact, someone was on the phone shooting a live. Nana Jane Opokwajima entering Elmina and Cape Coast. Actually, Cape Coast was almost at a standstill. Now, the people, the crowd, no one is going to. I don't think God could have even succeeded in enforcing social distance. That was not going to. It didn't happen. So both parties, when it comes to social distancing now, they've thrown it to the dogs. It's not an issue of MPP, it's not an issue of NDC. Both parties are guilty of that. Was it yesterday? 3 days yesterday or so, as at 12:30 midnight, former President Mahama was still campaigning at time. Now the crowd at that time, actually the videos that we saw, if you tell me that any social distancing was observed, no, he's guilty of actually bringing people together who did not observe social distance.
You can't blame them. You can't blame them. You have a Kufuor going somewhere. People, he's got supporters. People like and they want to just go there to go and have a look at him or listen to him. So you can't. But people should put their masks on.
How can they sing if they are putting their mask? Actually, how can they sing if they are putting? A few people were wearing the mask, but a larger extent. There's some of the videos you just couldn't. Like what the Cape Coast one, for instance. From what I saw in the video, there's no anyone. People were running from shop. There was one guy, Elmina, who, in fact, I think if it is not staged, let me use my word, then it's something that I'll send you the video. There seems to be an MPP campaign van over there, and this guy was actually painted in MPP colors from the top all the way down, and this guy suddenly jumped off the car straight to Nana and then Nana Mensah. Started dancing and waving it.
They can't create this like that. They might have.
So I'm saying, but at that very point in time, who knows about that? Is he going to take his knickers from So both political parties, especially when it comes to having gathered people or people have responded to their visits, their calls, their campaigns without observing the social distancing rules, without observing the protocols, as you can't go in a single party and say that they have done best. They're all equally guilty.
Now, when it comes to the campaign messages, do you think it's going down well? Because, like we were saying, earlier on behind the scenes, we were chatting and we were talking about one of the NDCs, the top hooks, who you said, well, he's one who can actually break things down. With all the jargons and he comes, breaks it down, the people understand it, and if people are following him, they know why they are doing so. Do you think that the messages that both parties are putting across are saying the same thing?
Actually, when you're in government, your burden is a double cross burden. You see, Jesus might have carried one cross trying to defend what he came to do and to show that he's a son who could rise again. And he did. When you're in government, the cross becomes double.
Your own, and you have the devil's one as well.
You see, opposition job is to attack.
Yeah.
Okay, opposition will attack. You might have attacked succeeded. Like Nana Akufo-Addo now, they are double burdens. You need to provide justification for the promises you gave. And then provides a justification, a reason for you to be taken serious again or the promises you are giving. So if you told me that, okay, A was not good, you were being given plantain once or twice a day. Okay, let's take it a night where people were crying about kinky,
the ball of kinky, yeah.
Now you were being given a ball of kinky and probably tin fish every day. Now, and you were crying, someone said, look, kenke, is it kenke food? It will make you grow fat. It will make you vote for me. When I come, morning tea with egg. Afternoon, pasta with, they say,
good luck to them.
In the evening, you eat turkey tail with a bit of banku, fufu, and probably some akranti and are you getting
the government will vote for them.
And then they trooped and voted for you. Now, they come. Some people might have benefited from foreign rice, perfumed rice. Others might have seen that even the kenke they were having has been halved. And instead of sardine, even the keta school boys, the eggs.
Yeah, that's what they're having now.
Someone has taken the actual keta out of it and already had. So now you now have to provide a justification why you promised me a morning, afternoon, and at the end of the evening, the afternoon kenke, you have it.
Yeah.
The tin fish I was getting, you could not provide. So what's the guarantee that now you are telling me that from next week, it is not only kenke that you are going to give me, but after you renew my mandate, I'll be bringing you Papa here on delivery.
Delivery. You.
Are you getting me? So you need, that is a burden that confronts MPP government now. So they need to be able to provide justification for their promises and be able to prove that what is said and promised the people they delivered, and then give you the opportunity they will. Because if I promise you I'll give you a turkey tail, and I give you, if not turkey tail, I give you a part of chicken. I tell okay, things were difficult, so
that's why
I promise you. But if I've not provided chicken and I tell you I'm going to give you lamb, you question me whether I even have lizard.
It got windfall me, you don't know.
So that is a burden. NDC this time, I think, personally, I seem to link towards NDC in terms of their policies more, but actually the policies they brought up with, for instance, I think they resonate. As someone who goes into policy, they think, I've always believed that the best way to development is through the people. You can never get it wrong when you speak to the people
and they tell you what they want.
Your whatever you want to do is driven by what the people want. They might want a cow. You might not be able to get a cow for them, but you know they want meat. So instead of going to give them vegetarian food, you know the people have a taste for meat. So instead of getting vegetarian food, you might go for probably a goat, probably chicken, instead of going vegetarian. Instead of going to see somewhere, it's okay, we want our people to go slim, and therefore in our manifesto, health for all, we're going to feed them, promise them 3 square meals filled with vegetarian food. Meanwhile, some of them, they are tied to the land already. In the morning, they eat dawa, which has all the immune system. So they need to supplement that with some meat. So the best way is, for me, is a bottom-up approach, and that's what I've always believed in. And I think this time they went to the people, dialogued with the people, and have actually presented a manifesto that I think, in my view, if taken seriously and if not politics, no wonder the government has started pitching some of they saying will be something that it should be an approach for all political parties to adapt. Some of the things that they've said over there could be roped into the national planning. The other time we were talking about the national planning. And this morning I was looking at part of the portions of the manifesto, and if you take what specifically has to do with the teachers, for instance, they've summarized the concerns of the teachers to 10 very important points. One of them, I might say, I'm happy, very, very particular from my background, from what I know about my family, and from some of the presentations, some of the things that we agitated for. One, they said for the increased teacher retention premium. So the longer you stay, some people, we train them, they get out. So the longer you stay, there's a bit of premium that is paid for you. Because some people use the teaching as a stepping stone.
Then move on to
then reinstate the repayment of what they call responsibility allowance to teachers. So basically, social responsibility toward the school. There was a time we had a lot of absenteeism and other things. This time around, teachers are being held responsible for that, and if you perform, you given a bit of reward in terms of it. Then they'll fast track the promotion and application for academic progression. We used to have a situation where people move to training from training college, they move to Cape Coast to do education courses. Then they say open special credit lines to facilitate access to loans. Let me not go through their mind. I'm not coming to sell for them, but there's one, for instance, that they said, which for me speaks a lot. Amend the National Pension Act to allow teachers who have contributed to SNIT for 10 years and above to collateralize their contribution for mortgage loan. Actually, for me, that policy alone is something that blows my mind, because the implications of that are huge. As someone whose father went to education, I actually understand what it means to be a teacher, and what it means sometimes to be posted to areas that you go, you have to make do with certain conditions that you are not used to. And that's how come I got to know a lot of them, because my dad was being moved here and there when the new educational system was introduced. Some you go to schools and you are posted to a village where even where to sleep is a problem. So people like that, the nation needs to honor them more than we've done, and I think policies like that will help.
Well, policies like that will help. Let me say good afternoon to Sister Gina Latte and to all of you who are watching us. Thank you. Continue to share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. 8 minutes past the top of the hour. The time, Starr Radio UK, the station. The lines are opened. 0208-133-2257 or 58. 0208-133-2257 or 58. If you are in US or Canada, it's 001-718-303-2737. 001-718-303-2737. Text or WhatsApp is 075-396-61744. 075-396-61744. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and our email address is info@starradiouk.com. This afternoon, exactly at 1:30, we'll be taking you straight to BB Means Business, that program that gives you another stream of income coming your way in these times where there is this COVID-19 and jobs are going down. You want to definitely get another stream of income, even when things are good. Why not? If you get another stream of income coming in to support whatever thing that you're doing, it will be very, very great. So make sure you make a date with her exactly at 1:30. All right then. But we're still monitoring events from the Houses of Commons. Once we have the Prime Minister's statement, we'll be bringing that your way. But let's come back to in Ghana. Let's touch on one other story, and then we'll move on to some other stories around the globe. Interestingly, the Accra region commander of Ghana Police Service, DCOP Afo Boachi Yadom, has urged police personnel across the country to reduce their sexual activities in the run-up to this year's general election. I rest my case.
What has that got to do with it?
I think that it takes all their energy. So what? I'm asking, why I read this story.
Actually, wait. No, the story says that in a run-up to general election, yesterday they did something. They said confidence marching, which I didn't understand.
I think during that they said that he made a statement.
Marching through Accra Street to show that they are able to. Monitoring the election. Policing the election, and he's telling them they are
less action.
Doesn't sometimes exercise.
No, he said according to him, that will give members of the service the needed energy to undertake their activities around the upcoming presidential and parliamentary election. Now, where we have to make sure that people, if we get in the police or the security agencies, they've got all the amenities or the logistics to be able to do their work very well. We look at other things.
How about if lack of sex affects them psychologically?
If the person comes there, sees you, slaps you because the wife didn't give you any action, then you know.
Well. Yeah, I quite might get why he's trying to come from, because even footballers. Sometimes they ask them to abstain from sex before matches. Boxers the same thing, because it takes a
bit of your energy.
Energy away. They should get glucose for them. They should get them packets of glucose in their pockets, and that will help. They shouldn't get police wives and husbands. They should don't. Don't go and punish them.
Somebody who cannot perform. Then when the wife comes and say, "Didn't you hear what our top said?" He said, "No."
And some people run out of the house. They run from their wives when they complain that we are camping so that we can stay away from them. Remember, they'll go with their girlfriends. Look, wives, any police officer who tells you they are going to come to restore energy, you follow them. Follow them.
Well, listen to Starr Radio UK. That's how we do it. Now, moving on straight to the US. Trump is planning to fill the Supreme Court spot. His plan to fill that spot is gathering pace. And the story is saying that the president appears to have enough support in the US Senate to win the approval for his nominee. So that will be the third judge, if he's able to do that he's appointed since he came to the office. Now, there are 9 of them. How many of them, I don't know whether from the top of your head you know it, are Democrats or
I think the one who died is a liberal.
So more Democrat.
I don't know the actual number, but I think for now they're dominating. But actually, the whole issue is about principles, and there's common disease that I found out. Politics seems to produce one of the finest, remarkable hypocrisy you can find anywhere on earth. Irrespective of the continent, the politics is being practiced. That convenience seems to be the driving objective of whatever politicians do. When it comes to principles seems to be the last under any consideration. And this has to do with politics in Africa, politics everywhere. The whole industry of politics, hypocrisy. Because if you look at the Senate leader, you will recall when Obama was in power, over 6 months to an election, because the Republicans were controlling the Senate, they wouldn't allow him to appoint a judge to fill a position that had become vacant. They said all kind of things to say how unpatriotic, bad bias. In fact, the current majority Senate leader was at the forefront of every barrage, every attack that went away of Obama. Here we are. A month, literally a month
to election.
Literally a month. Look, 7th December, 2 weeks to 7th December. 6 weeks to an election. You are saying you want to appoint
a judge.
Archie, you see, politicians, presidents will come and have a short span. But decisions and ideologies that politicians believe in, being the liberals, the conservatives and other things, rest mainly the interpretation of some of these things. When the judge sits on the bench, the judge not only look at what the law says, but their own beliefs and how they look at the law from their own beliefs, what has guided them actually comes to play in the way they interpret the law. And if you make such an appointment, it's a lifetime appointment. It's not something that will come 8 years. So implications for what abortion rights are, for instance, the rise of a gay, the rise of climate change, those are some of the major decisions that Supreme Court, for instance, might be called on to basically take decisions on in the future. And appointments such as this have serious implications. In my view, I think principles should be respected in politics. You can't say something today and change your stand the following day just because it's convenient for you. We are allowed to change our minds, but when it profits you, if you change your mind because it profits you, then you fit the right and perfect description of someone who can be referred to as a hypocrite. And I do believe that the majority, the Senate leader is actually being a hypocrite. Now, the issue about the majority in Senate, yes, they do have a majority in Senate now. Yesterday, we heard two people who are from the Republicans saying they cannot support such a move. Let's see what happens even if he appoints. We understand that by Saturday he might come the person, which he's going to do. Let's see what happens if the judges or people who might consider themselves a principal will be able to say no. We said this, we preached about it in the past. Let's uphold what we did in the past and not vote someone in, because Trump might win, Trump might not win. If he win, what difference does he make? If he doesn't win, give the other person an opportunity.
Well, listeners, interesting. Starr Radio UK. Now, two people have been on the list for Trump at the moment. Amy Coney Barrett, who is 48 years old and described as a devout Catholic, who, according to a 2013 Notre Dame magazine article, said life begins at conception. So you know that she's anti-abortion. And then the second one is Barbara Lago, who is a Cuban American born in Miami. She was the first Hispanic judge on the Florida Supreme Court. If nominated and then confirmed by the Senate, she will become the second Hispanic judge to serve at the highest court. But this is a Hispanic person.
And then that is a very huge. You know, Trump has a history of attacking the Hispanics.
Yeah.
And therefore, this election also coming this way, you know, Kamara, the vice of that, has a link to that constituency. Let's see if Trump will be pushed or will be moved toward the Hispanic to try and win political favors from them. It's a very, very huge appointment to be made, and at a very, very important time. I asked myself, if I was Trump, what would I do? That's a question everyone might ask themselves. I wouldn't appoint Archie. I wouldn't.
Making sure that he actually entrenches himself in. Well, listen to Starr Radio UK. Information coming through. Prime Minister Johnson to make statement to MP shortly on new coronavirus restrictions. So continue to watch our broadcast. We'll be bringing that to you live, so that you don't need to let's swap. Let me do that. No. We'll make sure we deliver on that. Starr Radio UK. Now,
Archie, another development coming from Ghana, and that's coming from the manifesto. We just here to verify again. The Minister of Education, NAPO, has announced plans that President Akufo-Addo government intend to cancel the compulsory teacher licensure examination, as well as the national service teachers, national service for teachers. Let me take that again. That NAPO is indicating that if elected, NAPO is indicating, the person who sent me the message data, NAPO is indicating that the president and the President Akufo-Addo has intention of cancelling the compulsory teacher licensure examination and then the national service for teachers. Actually, what is this about? For those who do not know, this is an examination that was instituted a few years ago by the government that after you've qualified and trained as a teacher, you have to sit another examination before you are given the
opportunity to go and teach.
And then they are also forced to do national service when under normal circumstances they don't do, because when they go to training colleges they do attachments. They go to do it. Those attachments normally are considered as part of national service and other thing. The opposition have captured it in their manifesto that they're going to cancel that. Now the government is saying government has done another you think great. For me, so long as it is the people of Ghana who are benefiting from it, it doesn't matter who implements it.
Okay, and that exams as well. Who introduced that?
That exam. Okay, there was a policy to do of a licensing system by the previous government, but that licensing system, the way in this country, from my understanding, here teachers are given unique code, unique license. Your license to it's not like the way the medical doctors you all got the license to practice. That's exactly what that licensing system was going to be. But when the government came into the new government came into power, they decided to do it examination, some final certificate examination. You qualify, you've been taught to be a teacher. In order for you to practice, you must sit an examination, and that is what they introduced, which is different from what the law was intended or the move was intended for.
Okay. Listen to Starr Radio UK. We'll be moving on to some other stories making the rounds, and then like I said, exactly at 12:30 the Prime Minister will be ready to bring that statement, and we'll take you straight to the Houses of Commons for that statement. But wherever you are, don't go away. It is Starr Radio UK. With me in the studio is Mr. Frank Davis, who has been analyzing some of the stories coming through and giving you some updates on some of them. Now, coming on to the African continent once again, looking at some of the stories. We've had the Malian issue that seemed to be going on this morning. Malians are optimistic over interim president's appointment. Now, the story talks about an defense minister. 60 years since independence, Mali once again stands at crossroads. The junta that overthrew Mali's president last month said Monday that former defense minister and retired colonel Major Barnado will be the president during the transition period. The country has been reacting to the news. Now, Benny Alai Torre, a sociologist based in Bamako, has this to say: I would have liked us to choose a politician because Mali has been a democracy for almost 25 years. Now, the question is, choosing, that's the junta themselves, choosing somebody who is a former military leader. He was a defense minister at the time. Does that make any difference? It's just like same soldier, same soldier.
The first thing for me is to congratulate the good people of Mali, and also to say a goodwill message to the person they've named so far. Now, one would argue that they could have chosen probably a Supreme Court judge, a former Speaker of Parliament, who truly, some of those who truly understand how democratic institutions function. But they've decided to go for someone who was an ex-uniform and always a uniform man. Actually, the good thing, however, for me, is that progress is being made. They've not gone for someone who is part of the juntas themselves. Who might want to use the position to manipulate affairs and transition themselves from a uniform
into a civilian.
So for me, even if they decide to participate in that, they decide to remove their clothes and become the same. The authority of the state is someone who is not part of. Yes, they might have a close relationship with him because he was an S, and once a soldier, always a soldier. With him. But I think it's better, far better, than someone who was actively involved in this uprising and a call to duty by the people and the response that the military sent to Keita. I think this is far better than them being involved. Now, what we should look out for is, although he might be the president, who he brings on board, that is going to be very key. Who he brings on board. It will also be good in one way, because if you look at what happened post 1979 in Ghana, when we had Rawlings taking over power, immediately handing over to what the civilian government, then coming back. Did the relationship between the military and the civilian administration break down? That is one of the questions I've always asked myself. Now, how did the civilian related to the military, who took over power, quickly handed over power to the civilian administration? Did they engage them? Did the Liman government in particular, did they bring the military on board to find exactly what was the communication like and other things? So this might work to even stop any military person from coming back to this, if because the military, what pushed you to take over power? It was ABC that helped us to take over power. How do we ensure that we do not have such institutions, such reoccurrence again? I think you'll be able to have a fine dialogue between the military as well. But who he appoints as a vice, who he brings on to help govern, is going to be very crucial. But for me, I am very happy that at least one, Keita has not been reinstated as being demanded by the ECOWAS leader, and two, that the military have not held on to power but have actually honored or stuck to their words to give power back into a transition government. For me, that is a very good move for the people of Mali. We can look forward.
And people like that, like the junta, do you think that they need to be settled? When I say settlement, I'm talking about financially, making sure that they are okay.
I don't think they need to be settled. Look, the duty is to help defend the territorial integrity of your country. That's the duty of a soldier. And if it was going down and you people rose up to uphold the constitution or to defend, because look, actually, but for the military intervention, anything could have happened. Anything could have happened. We didn't see life lost in this intervention. We didn't see buildings burnt down. We didn't see the kind of civil uprising that you would normally would have expected. It never happened. When Keita was there, we saw the revolution. We saw how people were marching onto the building, were being torched and other. If they had sat back and what do you call it?
Allow the civilians to believe whatever they are doing.
Allow Keita to still be in power. What could have befallen Mali today? Look, I think they did what they needed to do, and for one of the first times, I think I support 100% what they did. They came in my view, at the time that they were needed, which again is part of their responsibility as soldiers to defend and protect the territorial integrity of Mali. Anything could have happened. Because Mali, as it's situated, is not a rosy country
at all.
From what is happening in Libya, from what is happening in Chad, the geopolitics of that area, with the French soldiers present, and then talking of a link to Niger, a link to the Sahel, the Boko Haram, and that. Actually, it is not an easy area at all. You do not want that country to go down the way others have. That would destabilize it. It will have impact on Burkina Faso, Guinea, and all those other West African countries will be impacted. Are you getting me? Look at what has come of Libya. Look at how that region is. So for me, coming to settle them, I think they should just go back to their barracks after this. Those who want to say bail, and then those who want to, take their uniform and join the civilian, they can join it. They can join it.
Okay.
But we should not, and I wouldn't expect that they should they should be punished.
Okay.
No one should go that, oh, this was a treasonable offense. No. For me, that would be very, very unfortunate.
Because I'm of the view that if it happens that they go back, I mean, they say, okay, you say we should go back to barracks, so we're going back to barracks, we're going to be joining our regiments and this and that. The head of that regiment will think you are insubordinate and will think this person is trouble. So that's why I was thinking that they need to be settled, maybe financially, somehow, so that they can go live a civilian life, let them get out of the scene.
I don't know what they visited Rawlings last week.
Okay.
The military junta were in Ghana.
Oh, okay. And when they came to visit Rawlings?
They actually went to Rawlings to have a private chat with Rawlings. And Rawlings also was charged by Nana Akufo-Addo, ECOWAS, to also chipping away with the junta. So, and Rawlings said he was doing his duty as someone who has been asked by the ECOWAS leaders to also speak, and also bringing his experience. And had a private conversation. Some were told cannot be made public. Some are confidential.
Okay.
You look at the junta, you look at him. He's a perfect example of people who are best placed to speak to the junta. Now, his experience of 1979, is it because he wasn't settled, that's why he came back? When he went back to the military, what were the implications and other things? So I think those rich experiences would have helped in actually the dialogue that he had with these military people. And I do believe that some of these conversations might have actually, help in the decision the juntas are making as we speak. Settlement, I think money is not everything for some people. So sometimes the money might not. Look, money comes in if money was the motivational or was the motivator.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? If money was the motivator, then probably you say that. But if the main reason was, look, we couldn't allow the protest to continue to like what we saw in Tunisia, we can't bring our
destabilize the country.
And then they took a broader view of the geopolitics of that area and said, okay, look, guys, we couldn't allow this to continue. Should it happen, our country will go in the very institutions that will stand and be there to protect law and order, to hold and uphold justice, law, ensure that people deserve justice, people are given the justice they deserve. The courts are actually in a mess because Keita decided to suspend the Supreme Court judges. What do we do, Archie? I see myself in their shoes. That if this question keep on bothering our minds, then look, the generals, those big people are appointed by Keita, so it's in their interest. Guys, let's save our country. It's a call to duty. That's the way I look at it.
Okay, a call to duty. Frank says, what do you think about all that? We'll be crossing over to the Houses of Parliament in a jiffy, but whilst they are also getting themselves ready, let's continue with our conversation. Now, France has recalled its ambassador in Ivory Coast, Giles Harbison, just a few weeks before the country's heavily awaited elections. Now, following Ouattara's official declaration as a candidate to a third mandate, protesters took their anger to the streets. 15 people died during the demonstrations. Now, with many fearing the elections could lead to post-electoral violence like in 2010, the news sure came as a surprise. The French Ministry of Foreign Affairs has yet to give a clear reason to this return, but assures it is in no means the consequences of a disagreement between the two presidents, Macron and Ouattara. Ambassadors are usually recalled when two countries face diplomatic tensions or when facing sanctions. According to the French investigative media, Harbison will be investigated for acts of sexual violence will be investigated for acts of sexual violence on 5 of his colleagues, both during his time as ambassador in Mali between 2013 and 2016, and since he was nominated in Ivory Coast in 2017. Accusations should be proved to be true. Could be okay. Let me take that bit again. Accusations that, should they prove to be true, could be devastating for the French diplomacy, since the French ambassador to Ivory Coast is the most prestigious job within the African division of the French Foreign Ministry. So it's been recalled as to whether it's because of the the alleged sexual attacks on his colleagues, or because the French are not seeing eye to eye with Ouattara. What do you reckon will go on? Because just a month, next month they are having their election.
Archie, for me, I've made my position clear when it comes to Ouattara. I think it was irrespective of whichever reason he's going to be given or whatever he's telling us. I still think that him contesting again is actually stoking fire and trying to bring back the civil unrest that we saw in that's 10 years ago, 2010. I do believe that there could have impressed on him, if anything at all, to not to contest. And his good friend Nana Akufo-Addo, the president of Ghana, they are very close friends. I think he could have done more, even more so now that he's ECOWAS leader. He could have done more, because that's next door to us, the Western region. The recalling of the ambassador, I think if all these allegations have been leveled against him, I wonder why he was still in office in a way and was not or has not been investigated for all this or have not been recalled. The timing, I do not think is right, because French has a say in what Ivory Coast do at the moment. That is being changed, unless they will get someone to act in instead, or they are sensing danger within and say, okay, this is an opportunity just to pull it out. I don't think it should be, because if they've known about these allegations and they've not pulled him out and they've been hiding it, then one will not be far from right from concluding that the politics and the climate of politics as it is and it pertains now in Ivory Coast has contributed to he being recalled, because there's also a case against you and what they point to, let's recall instead of coming to waste more money when it happens.
Okay, listen to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'm bringing the time now to 12:37, and we are crossing straight to the Houses of Parliament. The Prime Minister is on his feet now, so let's stay tuned.
But we always knew that while we might have driven the virus into retreat, the prospect of a second wave was real. And I'm sorry to say that, as in Spain and France and many other countries, we've reached a perilous turning point. A month ago, on average, around 1,000 people across the UK were testing positive for coronavirus every day. The latest figure has almost quadrupled to 3,929. Yesterday, the Chief Medical Officer and Chief Scientific Advisor warned that the doubling rate for new cases could be between 7 and 20 days, with the possibility of tens of thousands of new infections next month. I wish I could reassure the House that the growing number of cases is merely a function of more testing, but a rising proportion of the tests themselves are yielding a positive result. I also wish I could say that more of our people now have the antibodies to keep the virus off, but the latest data suggests that fewer than 8% of us are in this position. It's true that the number of new cases is growing fastest amongst those aged 20 to 29, but the evidence shows that the virus is spreading to other, more vulnerable age groups, as we have seen in France and Spain, where this has led to increased hospital admissions and, sadly, more deaths. In the last fortnight, daily hospital admissions in England have more than doubled. Tens of thousands of daily infections in October would, as night follows day, lead to hundreds of daily deaths in November, and those numbers would continue to grow unless we act. And as with all respiratory viruses, COVID is likely to spread faster as autumn becomes winter. Yesterday, on the advice of the 4 chief medical officers, the UK's COVID alert level was raised from 3 to 4, the second most serious stage, meaning that transmission is high or rising exponentially. So this is the moment when we must act. If we can curb the number of daily infections and reduce the reproduction rate to 1, then we can save lives, protect the NHS and the most vulnerable, and shelter the economy from the far sterner and more costly measures that would inevitably become necessary later on. So we're acting on the principle that a stitch in time saves 9. The government will introduce new restrictions in England, carefully judged to achieve the maximum reduction in the R number with the minimum damage to lives and livelihoods. I want to stress that this is by no means a return to the full lockdown of March. We're not issuing a general instruction to stay at home. We will ensure that schools, colleges and universities stay open, because nothing is more important than the education, health and well-being of our young people. We will ensure that businesses can stay open in a COVID-compliant way. However, we must take action to suppress the disease. First, we are once again asking office workers who can work from home to do so. In key public services and in all professions where home working is not possible, such as construction or retail, people should continue to attend their workplaces. And like government, this House will be free to take forward its business in a COVID-secure way, which you, Mr. Speaker, have pioneered. Second, from Thursday, all pubs, bars and restaurants must operate a table service only, Mr. Speaker, except for takeaways. Together with all hospitality venues, they must close at 10 p.m. And to help the police enforce this rule, I'm afraid that means, alas, closing and not just calling for last orders, because simplicity is paramount. The same will apply to takeaways, though deliveries can continue thereafter. And I'm sorry that this will affect many businesses just getting back on their feet, but we must act to stop the virus from being transmitted in bars and restaurants. Third, we will extend the requirement to wear face coverings to include staff in retail, all users of taxis and private hire vehicles, and staff and customers in indoor hospitality, except when seated at a table to eat or drink. Fourth, in retail, leisure and tourism and other sectors, our COVID-secure guidelines will become legal obligations. Businesses will be fined and could be closed if they breach the rules. Fifth, now is the time to tighten up the rule of 6. I'm afraid that from Monday, a maximum of 15 people will be able to attend wedding ceremonies and receptions, though up to 30 can still attend a funeral as now. We will also have to extend the rule of 6 to all adult indoor team sports. Finally, we have to acknowledge that the spread of the virus is now affecting our ability to reopen business conferences, exhibitions, and large sporting events. So we will not be able to do this from the 1st of October, and I recognise the implications for our sports clubs, which are the life and soul of our communities, and my right honourable friends, the Chancellor and Culture Secretary, are working urgently on what we can do now to support them. Mr. Speaker, these rules, these measures, will only work if people comply. And there is nothing more frustrating for the vast majority who do comply, the law-abiding majority, than the sight of a few brazenly defying the rules. So these rules will be enforced by tighter penalties. We've already introduced a fine of up to £10,000 for those who fail to safe isolate, and such fines will now be applied to businesses breaking COVID rules. The penalty for failing to wear a mask or breaking the rule of 6 will now double to £200 for a first offence. We will provide the police and local authorities with the extra funding they need, a greater police presence on our streets, and the option to draw on military support where required to free up the police. The measures I've announced all apply in England, and the devolved administrations are taking similar steps. I spoke yesterday with each of the First Ministers and again today, and I thank them for their collaboration. The health of everyone in these islands depends on our common success. Already, about 13 million people across England are living under various local restrictions over and above national measures. We will continue to act against local flare-ups, working alongside councils and strengthening measures where necessary. And I want to speak directly to those who were shielding early in the pandemic and who may be anxious about being at greater risk. Following advice from our senior clinicians, our guidance continues to be that you do not need to shield except in local lockdown areas, and we will keep this under constant review. I must emphasise that if all our actions fail to bring the R below 1, then we reserve the right to deploy greater firepower with significantly greater restrictions. I fervently want to avoid taking this step, as do the devolved administrations, but we will only be able to avoid it if our new measures work and our behaviour changes. Mr. Speaker, we will spare no effort in developing vaccines, treatments, new forms of mass testing, but unless we palpably make progress, we should assume that the restrictions I have announced will remain in place for perhaps 6 months. For the time being, this virus is a fact of our lives, and I must tell the House and the country that our fight against it will continue. We will not listen to those who say let the virus rip, nor to those who urge a permanent lockdown. We are taking decisive and appropriate steps to balance saving lives with protecting jobs and livelihoods. I know all of this will have profound consequences for our constituents. So the government will give the House every opportunity to scrutinise our decisions. In addition to regular statements and debates, honourable members will be able to question the government's scientific advisers more regularly, gain access to data about their constituencies, your constituencies, and join daily calls with my right honourable friend, the Paymaster General. After 6 months of restrictions, it would be tempting to hope that the threat has faded and to seek comfort in the belief that if you have avoided the virus so far, then you are somehow immune. I have to say that it is that kind of complacency that could be our undoing. If we fail to act together now, we will not only place others at risk, but jeopardise our own futures with the more drastic action that we would inevitably be forced to take. Mr. Speaker, no British government would wish to stifle our freedoms in the ways that we have found necessary this year. Yet even now we can draw some comfort, from the fact that schools and universities and places of worship are staying open. Shops can serve their customers. Construction workers can go to building sites, and the vast majority of the UK economy can continue moving forwards. We are also, Mr. Speaker, better prepared for a second wave, with the ventilators, the PPE, the dexamethasone, the Nightingale hospitals, and 100 times as much testing as we began this epidemic with. So it now falls to each of us and every one of us to remember the basics. Wash our hands, cover our faces, observe social distancing, and follow the rules. Then we can fight back against this virus, shelter our economy from even greater damage, protect the most vulnerable in care homes and hospitals, safeguard our NHS, and save many more lives. And I commend this statement to the House.
I now call the Leader of the Opposition, Keir Starmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the Prime Minister for advance sight of his statement and for his telephone call last night. Mr. Speaker, the picture presented yesterday by the government's advisers was stark and cannot be ignored. Infections are rising, hospitalisations are rising, the trajectory is clear, and we know from bitter experience what happens next. So it is right that the Prime Minister is announcing further measures today, and we support those measures, just as we supported lockdown in March and the more recent local lockdowns. Although we fierce criticism of the way the government is handling this pandemic, when restrictions are needed, the national interest lies in clear communications and cross-party support. And so we will, as we've done before, encourage people to follow the government guidance and obey the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, families across the country will be anxious today. Many are already living under local lockdowns. Many more fear that soon they will. They're worried about their jobs, about their loved ones, and whether they will be able to spend Christmas with their families. They will also be worried that the government doesn't have a clear strategy. One day people are encouraged to work in the office. In fact, more than encouraged, they were openly challenged by the Prime Minister for not doing so. Today, they're told the opposite. This is a time of national crisis, and we need clear leadership. So it's right the Prime Minister answer a number of serious questions about the next steps. First, a number of areas in England already have localised restrictions, including some that are very similar to those announced today. Pubs and restaurants in Bolton, for example, have been told to shut at 10 p.m. for about 2 weeks. Leicester's been in localised restrictions for about 3 months, and yet the infections in those areas remain high. So can the Prime Minister be sure that the restrictions he's introducing today will be effective at suppressing the virus? And if they don't work, when does he envisage further measures might be necessary? I also want to ask about the support for families and businesses. These restrictions will put further pressures on the hospitality sector, on high streets and town centres, on people's jobs and businesses. So what emergency financial support will be made available to those that need it? There was nothing in the Prime Minister's statement about that. There's a big gap here. And will he now accept that withdrawing the furlough scheme in one fell swoop would be a disaster, and actually at complete odds with the measures he's just announced for possibly up to 6 months? And will he take us up on our offer to work with him and trade unions and businesses on a replacement scheme that protects jobs and businesses? Mr. Speaker, given the rise in infections we're seeing, these restrictions are necessary, but they were not inevitable. We warned the Prime Minister months ago that testing need to be fixed by the autumn. The Academy of Medical Sciences told him the same in July. They said testing and tracing capacity will need to be significantly expanded to cope with the increased demands over the winter. But the government didn't listen. They pretended there wasn't a problem. They didn't act quickly enough. Now the testing system isn't working just when we need it. We should also recognise that a second national lockdown is not inevitable. That would be a huge failure of government, not an act of God. There is still time to prevent it. That must be a national effort. Labour will do whatever is reasonable and necessary to support that, to save lives, to protect the NHS. But the government must lead, and they must do so fast.
Prime Minister.
Well,
Keir
Mr. Speaker,
Starmer.
I'm grateful to...
Keir Starmer sitting down there and responding to Boris Johnson. The Prime Minister said this is the time to act to curb transmissions. He used the phrase, a stitch in time will save 9. Keir Starmer saying it is right that the Prime Minister is announcing these measures and the Labour Party will support them. Adam, What was new in what the Prime Minister said?
A few things. So, stricter rules on face coverings. You'll have to wear them in a taxi in England now. Staff in restaurants will have to wear it. I think he was suggesting you as a customer will have to wear it when you arrive and then you go to the table or you go to the toilet. The guidance on COVID secure workplaces will now become the law. It will be a legal obligation for employers rather than just guidance. Some tweaks to the rule of 6. You were allowed to have a wedding reception for up to 30 people. From Monday, that will be down to 15, although the rule will stay at 30 for funerals. There'll now be more. And also on that, team sports. There was an exemption for team sports. You could go with your sports team indoors and play a game. That's now going to, the rule of 6 will apply. So that'll be quite a big difference for people doing that. Yes. And as hinted at overnight, this lifting the restrictions on conferences and big sporting events, which was going to happen in October, that's now not happening. Loads more enforcement, the doubling of the fines from £100 to £200 if you break the rules. Also really interesting, the police will be able to call on military support if they need help enforcing all of this stuff. I have no idea what that actually means in practice, how that will look on the streets of Britain.
And we could be looking at these restrictions for 6 months, said the Prime Minister. That's a long time, isn't it, for people to comply?
And this is a really important point, that we are at a very serious moment in time. As the Prime Minister said, a perilous moment in time where we have to act now and we have to act decisively to stop the rates going on up, to get it under control, and we want to all play our part in that. And hence more enforcement is part of that, because although the vast majority have been complying with the guidance all the time, we have seen a minority not doing so.
With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi there! Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Yes, welcome back to the program. The tail end, we're virtually going to be winding up down. But the Prime Minister has made a statement, and it's quite an interesting one. Office workers told to stay at home if they can, and if they can, the wedding to be limited to 15, and the funerals limited to 30. Says the Prime Minister as he tightens restrictions for England for up to 6 months. How is it going to impact the Christmas? You know, people have been worried about the Christmas, thinking, hey, you're going to ruin our Christmas for us. But let's have a look at this. Now, the Prime Minister Boris Johnson said the UK had reached a perilous turning point as he set out new restrictions to avoid a full national lockdown. He told MPs hospitality businesses could close at 22 hours and would close at 22 hours, and weddings will be limited to 15. Office workers are also being told to stay at home if they can, and they're saying we are acting on the principles that a stitch in time saves 9, says Mr. Johnson. And that is where I bring the program to a close today. Let me say thank you very much to Bobby Black, Osatola, Engineer Gbadigbo, Sahid Olom Ogbabai. Oh my goodness, I hope that this time I didn't mess it up. Okay, Gina Latte, and to you all wonderful people who have tuned in to listen to us today. I want to say kudos and thank you very much for joining us. But this afternoon, in the next 30 minutes, we'll be having BB Means Business, the program by BB Clement. Is a program that gives you another stream of income into your pockets, and it's interesting at these times where things are so difficult and restrictions are still being, more restrictions coming on. How do we survive it? Yes, make sure you continue to stay tuned. This program will bring you throw some light on that for you and what steps you can take to get to that place. All right then. So on that note, I say thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Olaimi Koiki, my colleagues who were on the bus this morning for us to bring you this program. And this is where we come to our destination, the end of our destination. So, Starr Radio UK, a good place to bring you back to. So don't you go away. In the next 30 minutes, the BB Means Business program coming your way. I am Archie, and I say until I come your way tomorrow, have a wonderful day. But let's take this tune from Bobby Wine, and he sums it all up nicely for us. A covered song. Enjoy it, and I see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.
The bad news is that everyone is a potential victim, but the good news is that everyone is a potential solution. Sensitize the masses to sanitize, keep a social distance and quarantine. Stop! The coronavirus is sweeping over mankind. Everybody must be alert. It's a global pandemic we can never take for granted. Kila mtu must be alert. It's a matter of life we can never take for granted. Discipline and personal hygiene, and make sure you regularly wash your hands. Keep a distance from everyone. Report anything like a symptom. Serious fever is a symptom. Dry cough is a symptom. Walk with stamina is a symptom. Itchy eyes and flu is a symptom.
Thanks for listening.
Turn it on. Turn it up.
While the others keep on talking, we keep on rocking.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Everybody must be alert. It's a global pandemic we can never take for granted. Kila mtu must be alert. It's a matter of life we can never take for granted.
The coronavirus is sweeping over mankind.
Everybody must be alert. It's a global pandemic we can never take for granted. Kila mtu must be alert. It's a matter of life we can never take for granted. Discipline and personal hygiene, and make sure you regularly wash your hands. Keep a distance from everyone. Report anything like a symptom. Serious fever is a symptom. Dry cough is a symptom. Walk with stamina is a symptom. Itchy eyes and flu is a symptom.
Wikuuma butabusiiga lwejjemu batannalwala olaga omwoyo gw'eggwanga olabira ku itale abasinga bafudde okubwebala kisingako obujjanjaba
In a motor must be a lot. It's a matter of life we can never take for granted. The bad news is that everyone is a potential victim, but the good news is that everyone is a potential solution. Sensitize the masses to sanitize, keep a social distance and quarantine. Stop!
The coronavirus is sweeping over mankind.
Everybody must be alert. It's a global pandemic we can never